Weekend to come here as we get going back to the upside once again for not only the market but individual tech names specifically. It's been about some of the biggest of the big, including Apple coming off earnings, but all starts with the jobs report this morning. We'll touch on that coming up a little bit. Better than expected as far as the market is concerned. Finally seeing a bit of a downtick as far as job creation, which is exactly what Jerome Powell and the Fed wants to see. A little bit more proof that the fight on inflation could be going in the right direction. That's a dollar right now. That's a daily chart. So we are seeing a bit of a rebound for the DXY, but it's been, about big tech specifically, 7% right down to the upside for Apple, NVIDIA, not far behind at the highs anyways, 3.5% now. AVGO and AMD, among others, including Microsoft, Meta, Netflix, Adobe, all nicely higher. Google, just kind of hanging out today, not really doing a heck of a lot. Eli Lilly, J&J downside, some of the energy names downside as well, as we see oil down 0.8% to wrap up the week here. Huge move for Apple, 7% to the upside. We'll get into some of the details here coming up, but it hasn't been much to do. I mean, there was an initial move higher, test lower, then sideways for the rest of the day here so far for Apple. There's Rivian, 1.6%. There's Rivian, 1.6%, still in positive territory. It was much higher than that. Back-to-back days with positive catalysts here for RIVN. Just seeing GME popping up in front of me once again on a volume scanner. That was the overall market, but there's GameStop. A couple days in a row here, huge moves, 10.5% on top of what happened yesterday for GME. The NASDAQ about to at least test the highs up here, maybe even take out those highs. If you missed it this morning, nowhere near what was expected. I'll zoom in a little bit here. 175 was the actual number it came out as versus 315. They also revised the prior month downside. If you remember last month, it was like 330, I think it was. They revised it down, not a lot. It was about 20,000, I think, on the negative end of the scale for the revision. So that's also helping with the sentiment for the overall market here this afternoon. But let's talk about Apple. That was top of the watch list when we got going in the pre-market this morning. Monstrous earnings report. The key, China. No, not only was it not a problem, so what? They're third now in the Chinese market. Doesn't mean they're not topping expectations on the sales side and revenue side, guys, for the Chinese market. Even forecast was great across the board here for Apple.
I think they like the buyback. You know what I mean? Like
the buyback is very key.
A record buyback of ever?
Yep, 110 billion, a record.
110.
Record
there's
buyback.
Nobody's ever done announced buybacks as big. So Apple once again winning. And at the end of the day, this is the stock. Wait a minute, just one thing. Rivian popped back above 10. I am short literally at $10. My stop is at 10.05. I was long this at this price earlier, and now I'm shorted. And it's now up 1.9%. It was just 1.6 a couple seconds ago. You go, get into Apple.
Yeah, we're hot dog con. Let's go. We're long Apple right now, just taking out all these levels. So this is what we did, man. So it broke, we won. It came back, we tried to defend again. Went back to the upside 35 cents. We were about 20, 15 cents in the money. Breaks 185, we get out, takes 185 again. We're back in it. So it's a roller coaster ride on Apple, but the long, I don't think is going to be wrong. We're breaking above. We're at 18,000. What if this breaks 18,000 on the NASDAQ? That's such a key level. I mean, this is why we talked about it over and over and over again. This is why we talked about it yesterday, how key 18,000 was every day. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just another level at the end of the day, but we know what kind of a percentage Apple is in the S&P and in the NASDAQ. I think it's like 8% now. It used to be 12%, came back in. Anyways, Apple continues to go upside. I think this is the hold that we want. We hit this real short the other day off of Fed, and then yesterday was yesterday, and now today you're getting a nice bump up. 38 pennies in the money and on a decent amount of shares here. So let's wait to see what happens with Apple. Hopefully we continue to climb up. I mean, trying to get something out at the top where we were before, I don't think is anything wrong with doing that. So that's what we'll do, and then we'll see what happens. But right now, Apple, upside. We went out. I mean, I'll tell like it is. We had talked about that. We were in the room there working on podcasts. I put a stop in there. It did break. Shouldn't trade without stops, but that's a good example of not being at your desk. It doesn't matter. I should probably have more outs up here. That's still a clean break. Nice move back up to the upside. I just sat down right now with Sharif. You guys saw it on the midday show. I sat back in and told him I was long Apple, and we just punched long. So this is a trade anybody could have, long 185. We just took another piece out there at 35. Still in about a quarter of this position, hoping for a big time move. No more outs until we break below 185.
All right, we'll go on to some crypto stuff here. I was just reading through this Wedbush note on Coinbase this morning. Another one with earnings. It was kind of back and forth, though. We had this nice run up into the open this morning, but just comes right back and then really hasn't done much all day long here for Coin.
Look, Brendo, they beat on the top and bottom line, and then, you know, for whatever reason, they ended up selling off, maybe up too much already. They reported 1.18 billion in revenue. They lost about $78.9 million last year. There also seems to be a lot of institutional interest coming in to some of the ETFs there after approval for the spot ETF by the SEC.
Any ideas or opportunities here, guys, today for Coinbase?
I did like a short on Coinbase, but it was not anywhere near where it was. Like at 8:30, Coinbase ran 17 bucks on the number, which was pretty intense. I thought, okay, you could break out this top and we'll short the 240 level. Coinbase dumped right at the open and pretty much just didn't recover at all. Lower highs all the way through. Bitcoin held. I mean, Bitcoin's barely even moving, and it's definitely holding those highs like 61.8, and obviously Coinbase, they didn't receive it very well, even if the numbers were pretty solid. I actually think that most of the numbers were pretty good, but it doesn't make a difference. There's no such thing as good or bad earnings. There's just earnings and what the market says after the fact. So on the daily chart, this is the trend line that it recently broke. It's failing underneath that again. The top is 225. 225 is about VWAP, so that would be the place I'd be interested this afternoon in trading. If we pop into there and we're not really breaking out on BTC, I think you could fade VWAP. You can see this really isn't even moving all that much now in Coinbase. So it's a little bit quiet. I felt as if Dara had it possibly correct. I think she was looking shorts on Mara at VWAP, and I would go like that. Coinbase at VWAP look interesting. As long as Bitcoin's not doing anything, I think you're okay, because both these were trending down most of the day.
I have to admit it. Props up to everybody that's with me here on Apple. I did fib. I forgot that I did have a small piece to get out, and I said we were going to get a piece out at the high if we got back up there, so I did have that offer in there. So now I was holding a quarter, now I'm holding like 22% of the position. So let's see what happens now up to the upside or so. Just because I took out a piece there, I don't actually know what the math is. Let's just wait to see now if we go back upside here, trying to break higher. This is a new, is it the new high of the day? I mean, new high of, yeah, I was just looking at this. We know we already went to 187. Just looking right here. Yeah, so 185 and change. So remember, this little bump up here, this happened like on a ridiculous, like, remember we said we would mark that level down? 183.50. Look how good that was. Sure, we broke below it, so you couldn't have respected it the whole way. But if you hit it once, it came back numerous times. So that's not a dark pool wick, by the way, just so everybody understands that.
It was real.
That was real. I was sitting here watching it, and then immediately we actually talked about it, and I was like, whoa, what happened to Apple? And I was like, something's happened. And then silly me, it was the imbalances. And then someone just counteracted that imbalance. I guess maybe even turned it positive. I didn't see. And then it went all the way to the upside again. So you have a $4 range in 5 minutes there on Apple. It hasn't had a $5 range all day. And it had it in 5 minutes there on a technical. Wow, now Apple's really mooning here, guys. Nice move up to 166. Our net right now is doing a little climbing action, so we're happy with that. The one trade I want to show you, because it's not on the board and I don't have anything to say about Coinbase, it's Tesla, baby. And I don't want people to think that, okay, this guy's holding this against them. We already took this move. So that was 181.30. There's an out at 181, that's 30 cents. There's another out at 180.86, that's 50 cents. So the fact that this is going slightly against me here when I have a stop up here is no worry. So we're gonna wait to see if that does hit. But we are definitely excited about this Apple move. And here we go again, guys. In being honest and talk, I just put an offer there and it went down. There we go, we just got out 64. So there's another out for us at 64. It's a good one there. It's Apple, and in my opinion, the trade of the day through this 185, because it was a tricky one. In, out, take the L, take the dub. So a little bit of a difficult one there. Pretty happy with the tolerance. Tesla, a positive name, obviously, but we just got taken out of the last third of that trade. Basically washing this out right there, washing that, and then remaining there. So again, in what could have been a bigger trade, you throw back 2/3 of it, right? Because you had it. So we'll make bank on that one. All right, over to the desk now with Block, says Dikembe.
To put in quite the reversal this morning as well, off the highs from after the close yesterday. Again, another earnings beat, but didn't last long here for SQ today. Quick right-hand turn.
What I took away from, sadly, what I took away from this was revenue popped up 19% year over year on the quarter, and transaction-based revenue specifically rose 6%. To the headwind side, they are being investigated for not really fully vetting a lot of individuals for anti-money laundering. So we'll keep an eye on that headwind right now.
Day highs here, never mind, for both the S&P and I was just seeing GME and the NASDAQ here. GME just popping up in front of me, continues to pop up in front of me on volume scanner, guys.
GameStop's ridiculous. Block gave everything back. Absolutely every single penny. The initial idea for me was 76.5. Like, where does that price come from? Why did it die at the open? It was resistance going into earnings at 76.5. You had the wick above, but that's just aftermarket. And you have no volume on those moves relative to what you're going to see like intraday. So obviously you want to see it hold that price. It was above on the jobs numbers, so I thought this had a chance to hold at the open. Immediately dumped back down, didn't get that short, got the short at the low of the day. When the market started ramping, I trailed out of square thinking, yeah, it should catch a bid here, and it didn't. So I ended up taking like a buck on the trade, and then the market just kept going higher, and Square just kept dropping. Admittedly, part of that is because I came in looking for a long on Square. So I was kind of thinking there'd be a bottom where there wasn't. I am genuinely disappointed in Square. I actually own some of this in my long-term account still from a while back. Not the reaction you'd look like, because you can't even sit there and say they had a bad quarter. Like, the numbers were mostly good. But the reaction is nasty. Can't hold a 50 period. It's still inside of the range, so you might be range bound, let this one settle down for a couple of days. But we should have held a short. It was a long bias that probably had me get out of it too early. I don't see much of a trade on it this afternoon. Unless you're looking for a long, it looks like it wants to break back out. If it can start to hold 70 and this market takes new highs, I could see a relief rally into 71, 72. But I don't want to touch it as long as it's underneath the $70 level. Yuck, Square, yuck. Worse than Coinbase.
Oh man, Square. Yeah, I mean, I know I own that, but like you, I have to go double check, see how much I'm down on it, or up. We'll see. I remember buying that name at $35, but I definitely bought some more in the higher side as well. All right, just real quickly here, our crack staff of statisticians has given me the following information. So I asked what was the largest day for Apple? Because I'm sitting here thinking, all right, we're up 7% right now. How much more can this go? Because the market cap alone is huge today, how much it's gained. Can it continue to go higher? Yes, because the market is a living and breathing thing. It can just continue to rally all day as long as people keep buying it. But at some point, I just wonder, is 7% too much? Its largest move. I have it already.
Oh, you have it already?
Since 2020. Because, I want like new era Apple. I don't want like, it moved 33% in in August 6th of 1997, it moved 33% in one day. But in its iPhone era, just like we're all in our Taylor Swift era, our Jordan Love era, for those of you in Wisconsin. Its biggest move was 9.3% back on March of 2020. And I'm not sure if we're caught up in world events.
March of 2020.
And whatnot of what possibly could have been happening. This is a little...
Nothing comes to mind.
No, this is a little higher level talk here, Neil. But in March of 2020, there were some global crises happening where we had potentially the shutting down of every single thing, of which I meant to ask you this because you were a season seat holder back then, of course, I think.
That sucked.
Remember? Oh, yeah, no. I know, obviously. But do you remember when they were putting cardboard cutouts in stands?
Yes.
Wasn't that season seat people? Did you ever get a chance to do that? I don't know how they did it.
They 100%. They offered that you could
Okay.
take a picture of yourself, and then they
Apple.
would put that nonsense cardboard thing.
Right.
And we're like, well, I'm not doing that. Like, that is ridiculous. If I watch the game and see a cardboard cutout of myself, that's not going to make me feel good. It's going to make me pissed off over the fact that I'm not actually at the game watching the team.
Well, I was just thinking about it because I was listening to something the other day, and they're just talking about like just ridiculous things. And one of those were, because I remember watching, and I was like, why the hell are there like cardboard people in the audience? And it's only like 2 rows.
I think you had to pay for it anyway.
No, but say, if I'm a player, like how does that make me feel like, oh, this feels much more like a regular game, you know?
It was so dumb.
Although, if you are a Chicago White Sox fan, you may want to go back to those days. You may have had more fans in the stadium with cardboard than you currently have. I saw a video the other day, Neil.
They can set the record.
I swear to God, there was like 1,000 fans. Honestly,
It's really bad in the South
it was
Side.
bad weather in the South Side. I'm not. Baseball's actually doing. I think
It was
it's
a
doing
cold
quite
day.
well. I don't know. Aren't the salaries going?
Salaries are going up.
Higher, right?
Look,
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani is, and the Dodgers are everything right now. Let's be real. Shohei, the guy.
More
is-
than Apple, or
Well, it's just
it's like
he's
Shohei's like Apple.
Shohei is the Apple
Okay.
of
now it makes more sense.
of baseball right now. He's a star that they actually market and that can be at like the global level. He's not LeBron James, but like they don't market their guys at all. Like they're trash at doing that. Like nobody knows who Mike Trout is, and the guy is a generational talent. Shohei Ohtani is an absolute Don.
I think we could probably go to Brendan, but something's happened with Paramount right now. Paramount
nasty.
dropping, gapping lower here. We'll go back over to the desk, but we'll find out what's going on with Paramount.
You had it there.
Well, I see the action. I don't. have
Yeah.
the-
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye out, guys. There's obviously some news coming through, but we'll continue along in the meantime. Let's touch on DraftKings here, coming off their earnings report as well. Just hearing a couple of things on Paramount now as well. I'll bring that up when we get it. But any trades or ideas here today for DKNG?
I didn't take any trades on DKNG, Brendo, but I was really impressed with their 31% year-over-year growth on revenue, as well as newer users was big as well. What I did worry about a little bit was some of their costs. So you remember that they were doing a lot of these promotional type, I don't want to call them trades, but essentially lines on there for gambling. And a lot of them was costing them a lot of money. It looks like they're doing a lot more of that. Good news for them, though, is they're expanding into 7 new jurisdictions in the States, so potentially more revenue.
So basically with Paramount, there was 2 offers floating around, if everyone recalls correctly, reports suggesting that neither of them will come to fruition here for PARA.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, I kind of misinterpreted that news. Because I punched in short, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. If one deal
short, no?
but I was like, if one deal is gone, there's still another one. And so I was like, oh, get out, read the actual story. And then if it's both could be off the table, that's a much different story. So previous, that's not good. Oh, the share, oh my goodness, he had a cash offer they could have taken. Unbelievable. Anyways, 1360, that's this bottom. I was like, oh, it's through that, let's just take it. Back to 1360, I'd short it, and if it breaks that, you short like $14. Oh, that sucks. You mean no one wants to see that
I
happen?
thought you were just short para.
I was.
Oh, you're out.
And then I got out of it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's
I
going
scalped
back up.
out of it, but it's going back in. Maybe we'll get this again off that 1360 level. Yeah, that can't be fun for shareholders. Like no one ever wants this stuff to happen. Down 2.5%. They could have had so many. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I just want to.
Deal
So
with that.
yesterday, just because that was a great trade. I mean, obviously you want to hit it fast. The reason why this is a much different trade than what we did on TD Bank yesterday, and by the way, TD is continuously getting absolutely destroyed off of that story, and I just want to thank Benzinga Pro for that, because yesterday this turned out to be, despite the day, one of the best moves for me all day. And I think it was, I'm thinking it was my #1 P&L stock, but yesterday was just so crazy, I'm not sure. Anyways, there was that story, of course, about the wealth management group hitting to the down. Was that yesterday? Yeah, because that's the Fed, though. No, yesterday was no. Yeah, so that is the move there. Yeah, so it's right here. That was Fed. This is the move. I was 2 days over. You see the increased volume, and then again continued today. The reason why I bring this up is because A, great trading if you're on that today, and B, just like, oops, that's the wrong para. Just like what Neil said there, there's going to be more interest in this, right? TD Bank was like a specific story about, you know, basically the company as a whole. This para, we know there's tons of buyouts opportunities there. So I just think the best thing to do would be to do what Neil did there, is to scalp in and out whenever you see potential other headlines or something like that. Because you see this move up, 60s down to 30s, back up, back, like it's done that move now twice. So there's a lot of uncertainty here. I would say play the ranges. And maybe don't do as I do, because like right now I see as Apple continues to go higher and higher and higher, and we had on like a way, this is not a word, huger position. And now we have minuscule-esque position compared to the huger one. I'm just doubling up on the wrong words.
Huger-er?
The huger-er word, share size. So I have another offer right here at 185.89. I'm not going to put it there. Like in my mind, I go, why not? Just take this out. 7 cents doesn't mean anything. But let's just wait to see if we can get going here. Apple doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Market also took 18,000. So we are now only in, unfortunately, 20% of this Apple trade.
All right, Palantir, to wrap things up here, if you're with us in the pre-market, we were touching on this. Jeffrey's note this morning, positive for Palantir. There's actually 2 or 3 on the analyst side that were positive, but this is another one. A lot of these charts that we were showing this afternoon looking very similar, just essentially gapping up and then fading that all morning.
Yeah, I tried to trade this one. Rejection off VWAP. It ended up being like a 1 penny winner. Look, these guys report after the bell on Monday, and in the last 12 months, this stock is up 197%, mostly on the back of AI news. Analysts are expecting a beat on both the top and bottom line. They're looking for revenue about $617 million and about 8 cents per share. Today, Jeffrey's giving them the nod, bumping up the price target from 22 to 24.
You and I were talking earlier, one of the co-founders of this company, Joe Lonsdale. I was listening to a great podcast last weekend with that guy. Super, super smart guy, and very, very interesting if you can find it. Shout out to My First Millions.
Yeah, good shout out. At the end of the day, like, you know, there has to be like second, third, fourth best podcasts. I've said that before. Like, you know, number 2 for me, Club Shay Shay, and I kind of feel
I don't
like
watch that club.
Joe Rogan is a good number 3.
Yeah,
and of course,
Joe Rogan's calling us for some advice.
The market's number 1. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot to message.
You did watch which episode of Shannon Sharp's?
I didn't. That's what I'm
you
saying.
didn't?
I know the show.
Oh, he's
like
funny.
I see it. Like I see the sports highlights. I know
Yeah,
he's all dapper and he has good. Yeah, and didn't he have Cat Williams?
That's where the cat went.
Right. Yeah.
That's like what everyone was interested. A lot of people were interested. But Palantir, Jeffries likes him. I don't.
Like the
No, I'm
butler or
just
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey the butler. Wonder what that guy's up to. Talk about like,
Probably not much.
probably
I mean,
one
the
of
Fresh
the
Prince of Bel-Air was.
to be that epic, but then really that's pretty much it, which is fine because that's like one career. It's probably an entire career having a role in that show. But most other people on that show did at least something else. I feel as if. But anyways, no idea what happened to him. I know what happened to me on Palantir.
Samesies.
I made the bottom wick. On
so
Palantir.
we
Now
both
it's
did.
and you know what's crazy? So I said, okay, if it can hold VWAP and consolidated VWAP, I'd look for a long later. Just didn't happen here. Like it broke, but there's no consolidation. Well, looky what's happening now on Palantir. So if we're supposed to be following our rules, which you are,
Never.
spoiler alert, you are.
What?
You know, this holding 23.20 and starting to break out, I should be going long in here and giving it down underneath that local bottom at 23.10. So I usually start by putting my stop order in. We get the stop order in, then we'll snag the dip buy in here. As long as we're doing that dipsy-do underneath above 18,000 as well. No, I want a little tighter to up here. That's where we want it. Yeah, as long as we're above 18,000, I should like some longs, and it's pretty much above the level we like. Odyssey Fights, I have not seen the new Fresh Prince series, so I cannot tell you whether I like it or not. Yeah, you know what? A few people have told me it's pretty
don't
good,
know
but
that.
I just never got into it, never really watched it. There's so many shows that are on my list of things to do, but I just don't have the time for them. And when the summer comes, there's even less time. And winter is when I have a little bit more time for TV.
I heard the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is a slapstick comedy.
It is not. It is a serious drama.
Why would I want to?
That's like,
Oh, I didn't mean about that. I meant because the slap,
oh, sorry.
the Will Smith.
That's a good pun. I missed that.
Not very good pun. Okay,
That's what I thought you were saying, and then all of a sudden, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. It's never good when you have to explain it and everything. All right, so, anyways, I went the other way. We had that same trade, broke through 23, didn't like it, even though I wrote down hold to 22.75. We shorted it when it came back up, and then boom, right back in. I mean, the short was what was good. We're almost out of it all. I was just holding it back to see. I still think I don't mind the short up here, but with the market really rallying, and now boom goes the dynamite with Apple back up to the upside here. You know, this name probably continues to go. I'm in a really small piece, but I still am in it, looking for the top to break. So I still want to go short, but I think I want to go short up and around here, 23.40, waiting for a 23.50 or so break. So that's where my next offer is in the 30s actually. And then I have a bigger one in and around here, 44.45 against that 50. So let's see Palantir continue to run. We got hit early, made it back, and now we're just kind of cruising, watching out for this one. By the way, I did get a little anxious there with Apple. It did not break. Remember I said I was at 89? Well, I got out there at 84. It's right back to where it was. It just wasn't breaking. I took another piece out, so now we're slowly starting to get out of more and more of these shares as we speak. So it's Apple. It's been fantastic. We're short Palantir, long Apple.
So just an update, I am short arm off of VWAP. We're going to get to the super chat in a second. And Rivian was just about to break out. Like it really looked like it was going to break back out here toward VWAP. It didn't, so we don't get stopped out. Like, look at Rivian. I get into the short, and then I sort of add to it through 10 to get an average price of 10. It goes 4 cents in the money. It goes 3 cents out of the money. Now it's still at 10. I've been in this stock in the afternoon before where it doesn't do anything, but if it breaks a low, I'll start getting out. If it takes out 05, I'll get out of the trade. And if you never hear me talk about it again, it's because it's at $10 for the entire afternoon, which is possible. This kind of thing has happened before. And I am still short Intel from VWAP. It got all the way down to 30.70. We've had a couple of shorts on this one. Like this morning, we're shorting 31s. Now we're shorting VWAP. If it gets back to VWAP, we'll do it again. But shout out to you, Jarhead Trader. What up? Been a while. Been a hot minute, Jarhead. Appreciate you. I feel like it has been a hot minute since we talked to you. Look at GME. Money, money, money. I don't know why. I said it 3 days in a row. I don't know why GME is up, but you know what? GME is doing amazing things if you're long the stock. I really don't know the explanation. I feel like we checked every single day. It could just be some kind of it could be like social media squeeze. I really don't know. But $15, $15.50 is resistance. Maybe we should just be looking for a dip buy in GameStop, allegedly. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you with this one. I have no long trades on this. I had a dip buy at one point yesterday that never came in, and now it's probably going to get to 15. I'd expect that resistance has some kind of sellers going into a Friday.
Yeah.
Wow.
See you, dude. All right. So yeah, Michelle Hebert as well. Shout out, man. We had, excuse me, Mike Crahan. Is it Crahan or Crehan? I would say both. I think I was saying Crehan this morning. Was 35 months. Shout out to Michelle as well, right here. 22 months. Thank you so much. There it is right now. Could GameStop? So you guys tell me why? Why did you guys get into GameStop? I mean, it still's going and it's a fantastic trade. I'm just thinking like I want to. Come on, man. I'm sharing my strategies. You know what I'm saying?
I have no.
Let me know why you got into there. I mean, for me as a day trade, I mean, breaking a 50-period moving average, fine. You know, but I mean, this is a nice move with GameStop. And again, I think the answer is just going to be social media. But and then wasn't there also something at the Trump rallies? Someone was saying that. Again, I'm just saying what we've heard on the chat before, not what I've heard.
I think the theory, it was something along the lines of.
Anyways, long story short.
Trump saying stuff about coming after naked short selling. And
Right,
then
so I don't know.
I mean, that kind of would loosely apply to any squeeze name where that's come up before. But
Yeah.
why just GameStop? I mean, AMC can't rally off that anymore. Nobody has any love for the apes anymore. That's what's
CHU?
up.
I don't know what that means. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, that's why I think it might be too, is like there's a lot of love now for this move again. You know, trying to get maybe some of this to go. You know, it's presidential election year. We're going to have stuff moving around, like including that DJT. You know, and then now that we get apparently more talks about, like you just mentioned there, education on naked shorts and how sort of traders can come in and fight some of those shorts that get put on names that maybe are well loved by many. And GameStop is probably one of those names again. I just had it up. I don't know why I didn't look at what the short float was. So it's 22. I feel like that's elevated again. There's actually, you can go and find out the rate of change of the short float. So I'm going to go try to find that to see how much it's increased over the last. Maybe it's gotten hit. I thought it was in the teens. I thought it had come off
gone down. It had gone down
a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, something could be there.
No, I think
yeah,
we
Apple
got
back
there,
to
by the
highs
way.
again. By the way, go ahead.
According to, I mean, Yannick just
31
said,
months, Yannick.
Congrats, Yannick. 31
Geez, someone else is there.
months?
26. What did I miss?
Congrats
Here,
on
do both these
500,000. Congrats on 500,000 subs. I don't know if we got there yet, but shout out to you, Nathan Wilder. We love you too, brother. 26 months. That's over 2 years.
That's
So
what
we
we're talking
love
about.
you guys in the family. Much appreciation. Where is the actual counter at? If we can for a split second, as GME is now at $15. Like it's not wasting any time. If this does any kind of a like dip, maybe like a 40, 50 cent dip, maybe there's rubber band action we can play off of on GME. Oh yeah, Paramount did kind of make a bit of a base here. Looks like it's trying to get back up to 1360. You know what, this looks at least remotely interesting here. Like it just tagged the lower high at 1355. So I want to give it, like this wick's actually 63, so I would give it to that level. Going to throw a stop order in there. It's free to short, which is always good. But yeah, if we get above 50, I'm going to look for a curl on Paramount with the news of those deals falling apart. But remember, it's not as if nobody else could buy them.
Right, that was the
You know,
thing.
that's something else could happen. You got to have a stop. If it breaks out here, I'd probably wait for VWAP or something a little bit different. But shout out to GME. It's not going to $500 DJK, but that doesn't mean it can't be a good long for a hot minute for everybody.
All right, we're trying to put some hotlines on NYSE here for Palantir, which of course is listed in the NYSE. We just shorted some more here at 33, which is why we have this average price of 31.7. And what does it show on there? 32. So it's a little rounding up, good. Error in my favor. But we'll have to, okay, here comes Apple. Anyways, I just want to bring that out to everyone's attention that we are short again now on Palantir. It hit those levels. I'm waiting against 30s, against that 50 level, but wouldn't mind taking a little bit out if we can get a little sub 30 back into here into 20 would be fantastic. But the market's starting to ripside right now. Apple just went up to 185.95. So just be careful with that one. We just touched the top. I'm surprised. Oh my God, I'm at 185.99. You know, I think we went there. We only went to 94. So see, now this is where I feel like I'm still following my rules because we waited for that break of 186. We already took this long at 185. This is going to be one of the, again, another sort of top name for me. But at the end of the day, let's wait to see if it can break it, and I will adjust that order because there's nothing worse than making that wick right there like I did. But again, Adara mentioned about being confident and some fun lines like that. We're going to play with that. Yeah, I like that one, the Seanfident. But I just think that, you know, we're Seanfident enough to get back in, but then not really confident enough to say that 186 is going to break at any time. So I like that wick top there. I'm going to sit there and see if I can take it out. Palantir needs to get to the downside. That's about all I'm working with right now, Neil.
I just jumped into Paramount just under 50s. We didn't get 50s. I got 47s. It's distinction without a difference in that particular case. I mean, I wanted it under that level, so a couple of cents away doesn't really matter. But I don't know. There was a line that it was not my line, but it was someone else on this show at one point said, we didn't come all this way to not print the level. And I feel like,
But now that person no longer trades, so.
no, fair enough. But What he would use, the reason would be if a stock is this strongly trending into something people, and look, it was way higher than this actually at the open. It got to 187. You're not even talking about the high of the day. Like, it's the strongest trending stock in the afternoon that isn't, I mean, NVIDIA is actually pretty strong too, but it just feels that there's enough juice here that gravity, especially on Fridays, usually takes you to level. Whether or not it holds a bit above 186, I think is a different story. But I think it has a chance to get there and at least make a run at that level. The bigger concern would be
a run at it, yeah. This is.
Paramount's got bad news. Rivian's underneath VWAP. Tesla, I'm not in Tesla. Intel's underneath VWAP. ARM though, like ARM is at VWAP and kind of putting in higher lows. If I'm concerned about one of these, it's got to be ARM. So my stop is not all the way above at 103. My stop is right here, like 102. 60-something is where we're stopping out on ARM. Just want to be a little bit careful there. AMD breaks 152, might head into that gap. I thought 151 was a big level on AMD. Yeah, 151. 150, 80, double top here. And then we go back the other day. Yeah, I mean, ignore these dark pool wicks. Yeah, 151, I think. That would be a nice little breakout on AMD. Yeah, I would. The only difference I'd say is 151 I have as the high. Post earnings, like there's your gap. That was a real wick at the open. It really did get up to 151 and then dump. And then we had the following day, or following afternoon, like 149 was the top. So yeah, 151 on AMD. That could be a breakout.
Yeah, I think there's lots of possible breakouts right now. We just took that out. Shout out, some of you guys were guessing. Yes, it is Luka. What's up, Luka? Luka Magic. Luka Doncic. I mean, wow. Some of those series. Oh, I fell asleep. The Knicks game was like 11:45. Knicks wound up winning, right? Or what? Because I was watching that.
If you were asleep, you think I was awake?
No, not that. I should know. I was
you know I was asleep.
It must have. It was free throws. They were just doing free throws.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they would.
But it was like they could have came back.
Oh yeah, Knicks won 118.
118.
118, 115.
118, 115. Yeah. So
bye Joel Embiid.
I was like watching it there, and I was cheering on. Like, so look, shout out to Philly. We've given a lot of love to Philly, but I was going for OG Anunoby.
Of course.
And against Nick Nurse.
Of course.
Okay.
And there's no hate to Nick Nurse, but
no, just our former coach. That's all. It's like, I know he left. Wanted to go somewhere else. So
I hope OG goes all the way.
And OG didn't even really want to leave Toronto, but again, because of our situation, we are able to get two guys. Quickly is going to be nice, and RJ Barrett is from Toronto and already is pretty nice. Shout out to Duke, right? 3rd overall pick, 7th overall pick.
No, he was top 3.
Yeah. All right. So again, a shout out to Luka, and didn't come all this way to go all this way or something like that. Well, it did come all this way, and we're going to take advantage of it. So we got another out there at 90. Remember I said I went to 94? I put it at 90. We just got that fill. It's right here right now. There it is, 92. So we'll probably get 94. We still have position. Now, I keep saying no more outs. We've done good with that. I mean, we took 2 outs up here. When it dropped like that, I feel good about it. Here we go. No more outs. I don't even have that 99 anymore. It's out of there. So now let's see what we're doing as this starts to rip through. 186, baby. Let's go higher and higher. And by the way, guess what else is happening? I mean, it's not a dramatic thing, but when your daughter asks for pho tonight or ramen, I'm going to say thank you, Palantir.
That's not close.
Because at least there's
pho 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I like pho. Some are like pho.
Okay, it's supposed to say pho, but I mean.
I don't know if you're supposed to say pho or not.
I'm all about remember that the chilies?
I need someone in Vietnamese here in the chat. We got to figure this out.
I just remember there was I forget the name of the spot now. There was it is pho, but there was a spot in Toronto.
I said Vietnamese.
Remember they had the chilies up to 25? And our boy.
I see you.
Look, it used to be like if they had like 25, you could do the spicy. And I can do spicy food no problem. And I remember like I loved like an 8 or a 9 or something like that. Like that was like right in the comfort zone for me. And our boy was like, I can do 15.
Marcus. What do they call it?
The chilies.
Not spice. Oh, sweet chili.
It's 15. You say like 15 chilies.
Yeah, chilies.
And so he gets this, and he's West Indian. So, I mean, you'd think he could hang, but oh my! It was like when Shaq did the chip challenge, where he's like, I'm fine, and he's like crying no, I'm not making a face. And you could see him just eyes welling up and all that good stuff. But it was so delicious. So by the way, moving to the downside, I'm in shorts that probably don't care about the market, but Paramount just moved back into 13.25, so we got to 13. I mean, it was 47 that we got short in 48s. Rivian did something, which is finally starting to move down, so we're starting to get some out there. ARM is starting to move back. It's still underneath VWAP, but it's not exactly falling apart. Why do I have a 100 bid?
Now there's a request for a faux
To
animation.
do. Really?
All right, from Jarhead. What's up,
Although
Jarhead?
apparently it's FA, so we should be saying FA.
Yeah, well, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. Look at this Palantir. Let's go.
Why am I? Oh, you know what? Why am I?
All righty
Oh, yeah,
then.
that's right.
Fa for you. Fa for you.
It's
Fa for
fa.
everyone.
It is fa, because I remember someone saying that.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just playing around. Here we go. Yeah, we're doing quite well now with this trade. There's Palantir. So far this afternoon, one trade, Palantir. That's it. You guys, I mean, minutes before we went on air. And you could have even got it when we got on air. It was 2 o'clock. It was right here. So we basically have 2 trades for you so far here. Apple long, which is, let's just say by the time we were on air, 2 o'clock, okay, let's just say it's 30 or 40s. All right, so you're 50, 60 cents in the money on that one if you're late to the party. And then the Palantir trade, which I like into the close now. Market coming back. The only thing about why I'm covering here, we've already talked about it, we're just trying to stack it up. Like I think the market broke 18,000 and now we're trying to hold above it. So for me, that's a spot for sure. So we're gonna have to wait for that if it holds or not. But we just covered another piece at the 50 period. We're gonna hold out. I thought I have a bid at 11. I gotta change that right now. So I'll put a bid right here at 17s and then there's the 11. So that's why we have it. Okay, so we're gonna have to put a bid here, sub 20, get another piece out. And then hopefully at the end of the day, it is what it is. We are, did you say you have activities tonight now?
Oh, I got.
Or is it tomorrow?
Well, actually, we changed. So my daughter's playing baseball, and we didn't know what days of the week practice is going to be. And games are on Tuesday, so we moved like gymnastics for her onto Saturday mornings. We already have dance on Sunday mornings. And then we have back-to-back birthday parties. So we have a birthday party to go to in the afternoon at Chuck E. Cheese or something tomorrow. And then there's another one for a neighborhood kid. One's a classmate, one's a neighborhood kid on Sunday. It's going to be busy, but it's a good kind of busy. And then we have our first baseball practice on Tuesdays.
Those are the best kind of busies.
So that'll be a lot of fun. But it does mean a little bit less during the week because no longer gymnastics, which is, gymnastics is the longer activity. Like that's the one, like we're getting her home at like 8:40. On which she's 7 years old. I still feel like that's kind of late for a 7-year-old.
Brendan at.
So I'm happy to have that on the weekends now. It's just a lot better. I'm up early anyway, so who cares? Did I get IBIT long? Jack of all trades says. First things first.
Oh God, it's raining now.
What now?
Okay, so we're supposed to have another practice tonight. It's raining now. It looks to be raining, although it's supposed to start at 6.
Party pooper.
Yeah, and then my son has his banquet tonight. And then tomorrow at 8:30 a.m.
Nice.
is High Park opening day. And you know who's throwing out the first pitch?
Joey Votto.
No, someone much more famous than that. Jerry Howarth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for us. Obviously, Joey
Yeah.
Votto, people know who that is. Does Joey Votto even exist anymore? Yeah, I know he's on the...
He's on the Jays.
Is he still there, though? Because I
Okay.
haven't seen him bat or anything.
No, so basically what happened is, so Joey Votto is like a legendary baseball player in Cincinnati who's a Canadian. And the Jays signed him so he could play his final age 40 season with the Jays.
Right.
He shows up at spring training, hits a bomb in his
That's how my
first
mom
game,
is.
and then rolls his ankle celebrating in the clubhouse. And he's been out ever since.
Right.
So
Bullshit.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. But anyway.
He's not even hurt. They just don't want to
cool
admit
dude.
that he's no good.
He's a cool...
I like him.
A guy I played baseball with back in the day actually knew Votto and played with him when they were younger, and he's had like epic stories. Like there was this one time he's supposed to be, it was an aluminum bat league.
The guy's an animal.
And he's supposed to go to the plate with an aluminum bat. He had the game off, he's gonna pinch hit, and there's pro scouts there, and the coach is like, you're going in. And he picks up a wood bat, and he's like, we're trying to win this game. Just use an aluminum bat. It's not a wood league.
Right.
And he says, no, there's pro scouts here. I'm going to use a wood bat. He's like, no, we're trying to win the game. And then he just turns to his coach and he's like, I'm going to the show. And he walks to the plate and hits a bomb with the wood bat because that's how he rolls. Because he knew he was that good. And Wood is obviously not as easy.
So
to
not
hit with.
necessarily a team player, but definitely a player.
Well, he hit a bomb, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't strike out.
I mean, going against your coach, from a coach.
Well, you shouldn't. He shouldn't have. But
But anyways, yeah.
if you're gonna do that, you better back it up.
Yeah, and he did. He did.
He did.
No, I mean, probably.
The dude is a
I mean, Russell Martin. As far as Canadian baseball players go.
Larry Walker.
Yeah, from Colorado. I mean, and Montreal Expo fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry Walker, I guess, would be the number one.
I think.
Was there anybody else in the Hall?
Ferguson Jenkins
is in the Hall of Fame.
Fergie, Larry Walker,
Walker.
then Joey Votto.
Well, he won't get to the Hall of Fame, will he? Maybe. Yeah, I just have messaged my mom because that was, I don't know about you guys, but like, I used to listen to every single Tom Cheek and Jerry Howarth, like every single Blue Jays game, basically every day. We had in our backyard, it would be blasting, whatever.
Yep.
We had like these outdoor speakers, blah, blah, well, I mean, obviously. And we'd be playing then in baseball. Even now, my mom, like, if the Blue Jays are on, it's either on TV, yep, exactly, or it's something to do with Blue Jays baseball.
Tom was the only one in our high school friend group with a pool.
Yeah.
Which is, I always say that. Apparently that's funny to somebody, but back there, Josh laughing. A couple of things. The market, here's what the market's doing. This is the NASDAQ right now. You're holding 18,000 and you're not really moving. So if you're in a long that you like, you're holding and you're taking profit. To me, if you're in a weak stock or short, like I think I don't know if you want to be entering anything new. I got to do a long off VWAP on Palantir and then realized it wasn't actually VWAP. Yeah, you know what? So that's not exactly VWAP, that's 23.20. So the first thing I did was just get some out flat. And if it gets to VWAP, get back in at VWAP. Because if you're making a VWAP retracement trade, you should wait till it gets to VWAP. That's the way I kind of think about it. So I'm going to get back on the bid there. I am still in ARM. It's basically flat. The newest position was obviously Paramount. And if you're just tuning in now, essentially, unfortunately, they did say that both of the deals that were on the table are now off the table for Paramount shareholders, which is a tragedy because it felt like at least something was going to get done there, and now you're seeing it continue to drop. But it's held $13, so at this point, I don't think I'd reload this a third time in Paramount. If it breaks 13.50 or 13.55, I just get out of the trade. I don't think this has as much juice to the downside as other news type plays, as Sean already alluded to. If you look at the daily chart here, this has been going up and down and around on deal speculation, and for the most part, it's had a solid bid most of the way. So I think the $13 level here was like the last resistance spot. Unless it's cratering through that, I'll respect the fact that it could hold 13 here for Paramount. DJK, Paramount's a disaster. I don't disagree. I just hope for shareholders doesn't end up like, what was it again? It was Yahoo was a famous one. Like, I will never forget. It was like, I don't remember the exact price, but I remember there was like a Yahoo cash offer they didn't take way back in the day. And then it was complete destruction after that. It was something like 38, and then within like a year, it was like $15 or something. I don't know. Sometimes you just take the cash and swallow the pride and do what's right for the shareholders.
Well, that's what they should always be doing, to be honest with you. All right, so remember we talked about that story about, hold, see what happens at 186. Well, this is why we're still here in the business, to be honest with you. You got to take some out at highs. We talked about that. We only had sub 20% left. So, I mean, now that it dropped back in, this is giving me another opportunity to reload on Apple. So, again.
It's at 85 again?
Yeah, it just tanked. So we're long here on Apple against the 200. So remember what I said about like trading less names. I've traded Apple, Google, Palantir. We traded the TQs today, which is still my P&L number one. Well, we'll wait to see what happens with Apple here. And then this was, look, no trades, but trades on that. So this is one trade here, pretty much my number one P&L name. All right, and then we had Tesla. A lot of trades, long early against that bottom. Once we saw that it failed, it was short nation until we just broke. Another positive name for us there. Palantir, we've sort of beat this one. Long there, out at the low of the day before we actually, see what I mean? Look, this is a perfect example. Here's the low of the day out, and there's the low of the day on a short to take profit. So it goes both ways. Right there. So that's that. Now Palantir's a short again. So that's another trade. Google, again, long off 165, 166 that we liked, worked, out. Short off 166, worked, then didn't, then out. That's Google. So simple. And then the last trade is Apple. It is wicked when you can look back at your trades and be like, yep, 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 and yep. Regardless of if they win or not, they're simple, they're easy, they're well documented. Every idea I took today, although Tesla's on here, was basically a sticky note name. So that's what we did, man. We're trying to be very, very focused. We talked about the success that this has led to, and I'm not going to change because of said success. So I think that's something that you have to look down at the end of the month and say, this is working or this isn't. And then not only is it working, but how could you make it work better? Like, how can you get more aggressive? And Neil talks all the time about different strategies that potentially work during different times of day, or you had that thing about NVIDIA going 10 of 12 or whatever the stat was.
And of course, like that setup hasn't happened in a
exactly.
week.
But waiting for that.
Well, I like it. It was a very specific setup that's worked really, really well on NVIDIA. It's just false break of the low and then the specific like bull flag double or triple top within the first half an hour. I wanted to answer a couple of questions here, but one, Alex Enzo, wasn't it said earlier that a NASDAQ name has to maintain $1 at minimum? That is true. However, there's a few wrinkles around that. So yes, you got to be over $1, but I think it's like 90 days or something along those lines. And they can file for extensions, and then there can be reverse splits. So just because the NASDAQ stock's underneath $1 doesn't mean it's getting delisted. There's a whole process behind it, and it can take months. It can take years before. And then Elon, will you take a look at TD and tell us about your strategy to buy the dip? Okay, first things first, I'm not necessarily buying this dip. What I did say was I'm going to start considering whether I want to. That was I'm putting my head down. Because
look at Apple.
I'll be real, I didn't even realize how, whether or not, you look at this chart, it's not very good. I didn't realize exactly how bad it was, and it's at a major support level. I feel like if it can't hold 54, pandemic lows are in the 30s. I think I would probably be a buyer in the 40s on this stock, but I'm definitely trimming my position by half through 54. That's the determination I came to at lunch, and the good thing about it is I think it's an easy thing for me to just maybe put that money. I didn't raise that much in terms of selling things at the top, and I can put that money right into like the SPY. Because I wouldn't put it in the Qs. I'd want to put it into something that has exposure, a little bit more exposure to other markets and maybe even the financials there. So if it cannot hold on to this 54, I don't see any reason. Like I can buy it back in the 40s. I like TD Bank, but that doesn't mean I have to hold it down to oblivion. It's not good news. So I did a little scalp in Apple, but I'm going to get out in front of 186. Because now I kind of feel like we did come all this way not to get there.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. So this is why, yeah, shout out to Luca. Be well. Look, this is the thing. I said to Neil, I was like, oh, here comes back Apple. He's like, oh, it's at 185, and then basically hops right in it. This is the benefit of hitting the subscribe, getting to be part of our chat. You guys give us levels all the time. We give each other levels all the time. And there it goes right there, back up to the upside. Have faith.
I didn't have a level, well, I did have a level 2 up, but I wasn't
what I'm talking about, right? It's like we knew we liked Apple today. It just dropped back in there. And now we don't have to worry too much about what P&L 1 is going to be or anything like that. Because here goes Apple nicely back in, up to the upside. And again, this is why you get out and you do something like this. I just hope that we can, educate at the end of the day and just make everybody better traders. Including ourselves. I mean, I'm going to speak very selfishly. This is a show for sure, but at the same time, I've got bills to pay and a shit ton, too much of them. Not too much of them, but the right amount. But again, making money here, trying to show you guys what the ins and outs are, and you can develop your own strategies. But there it is, right there. Dip into the 200 period moving average. Again. A completely self-taught method of trading that I'm working on every single day. So last month was great. Let's see if we can repeat it this month. And we're starting off decently. We'll be up what we were down yesterday with still an hour to go. So hopefully we'll be able to turn my frown upside down, but I'm not frowning. So I just couldn't think of what to say there.
Yeah, and one of the things too, like I said, in the middle of the day lesson was learn how to have quote unquote bad days that aren't disastrous days, so that when yesterday is frustrating, if it's down, it's slightly down, because there was enough there yesterday that you're not destroyed. I look back and it's usually if I have most of my stocks green, then I'll be up, But yesterday was an example where that wasn't true. I think I was like 5 for 7 on momentum. But the problem was the two I was down on were Carvana and BABA, which I knew were going to be the two big ones. Carvana, fair enough. But Alibaba was a long that I lost on, which obviously stinks. I want to point out that Alibaba's up today because we haven't talked about it. And it's still, so this is now, I said this yesterday because I thought it was Friday, but now it is Friday.
Out here.
It is closing, unless something really bad happens, Alibaba is closing above the 200-period moving average on the daily here and above $80 on the weekly, which means come Monday, I'm adding to my long-term position because I said I would not add any more unless it's on the way up. Sometimes you like that smiley face. Well, the face is smiling on this chart of Alibaba. Look at that perfect segue. Thank you very much, Ram. Look at that. Hold it. Hold it, hold it. And now because I've said so, Alibaba will somehow manage to tank $1 and close beneath 80, but I don't think it's going to happen. Chinese ADRs don't move in the afternoon, right? So we should be fine. Speaking of that, let me go over to Rivian, which doesn't usually move either. And the thing about Rivian and Intel, you're not going to see me, I don't think you see me add to these positions. I had these on either, this one was at 1 o'clock. Intel was actually probably a little bit earlier than that, and I'm just sitting in it for it to get to the low of the day or stop out just above this level. So we're trying to be patient with Rivian here. It's not really doing much, but it's also not stopping me out, so it's not wrong and it's not flying around here. If anything, the short position that was put on recently, like ARM to a certain extent at VWAP was recent, and then Paramount. And if Paramount cannot break this 13 here, the trailing stops at 13.25. I've now moved it down. I don't want this bouncing off of 13 even, catching a big bid, and then all of a sudden, this goes all the way back to VWAP, because that's not impossible on Paramount. And maybe the news comes out, oh no, there's another bidder on Paramount. I don't know, and I don't want to get caught up in that if I can't. Michelle Hebert in the chat just said GME again. Ooh, it did not hold 15 bucks. The first sign of weakness, GME? Yeah, I'm not shorting that stock.
GME, I'm definitely not shorting that. Not into the weekend, no way.
No.
Well, I guess so. I mean, it could pick up some volume. I actually forgot one more time because I have to be at, it's fine, I'm here to do everything, but I have to be at baseball tonight. But we are doing, again, the market recap show is back on a Friday because we're not filming the podcast anymore. So although,
Good thing you reminded me.
You want to be done at 4:15? Yeah, sure. It'll be a real quick one, says Ramin today. Let me ask my booking agent. Booking agent? Yes. Do we have a guest on tonight? I'm not sure. Let me check. All right. So this is why I need I need that virtual assistant. All right. Let me check if we have anybody scheduled. Probably not because I don't remember booking anybody. Nope. So, all right. It's me and Adara tonight. Get ready for some Q&A. You want to do some Q&A, Adara?
I would love to.
It's Q&A with Adara and I tonight. Should be fun. We'll figure it out. We have lots to talk about.
Will Berkshire Hathaway hold on to its double bottom at $400 is the question for the market.
It's just no podcast recording. Check out tomorrow for the podcast. There will be a posting. Yeah. Remember, we're working. Not revealing anything, Ramin. It's my show.
I didn't even understand what she said there, so that's good. Oh, I only said that about Berkshire because thank you, Ian Rispetto, for the super chat, which we kind of missed here. Do we have any insight into Berkshire and how it has performed on earnings prior to the one tomorrow? I will cop to the fact that Berkshire is not a stock that I pay attention to on earnings. I don't know that anybody day trades that thing. I remember one time at the close back at our campus office, there was a big deal about them on an auction. And then I remember at the post, they were holding the print for like a half an hour. It was the longest they had ever hold a closing auction that I'd ever seen. And that was the only time I paid attention to Berkshire Hathaway in a trading sense. So I'm not really familiar with it. I think it's a fantastically run company. They have a really good strategy for how they invest, which the proof is in the pudding. And on a day where Apple is ripping faces off, it cannot be possibly a bad thing for Berkshire, right? Because that's half of what they are. But I don't have any specific insights. And if I did, I'd let you know. We have no issues saying, hey, I don't know. I don't really look at that stock. Probably worth a decent It's probably not a bad investment. I've never. You own any Berkshire?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't either. But
But I think it's fine. I mean, I've already talked about. I would rather just buy the diamonds. You could just buy DIA, which is. I mean, again, you could look at the why is it dot?
the way I see it is like if I own
Dow Jones.
Like if I own the Qs and I own like 20%, which is like a bunch of Apple, and I own Apple individually, it kind of doesn't make sense to then go and buy Berkshire because then.
Well, the thing is, Berkshire has a bunch of life insurance.
No, it's
bunch of
true, but then
finance.
I'm just buying more Apple also too. Like if I didn't own an index
Yeah.
that was only stock specific, I might consider something like a Berkshire.
But it's a good way to get exposure if you don't want to be all like you want to have Apple, but not
That's
the
fair,
actual. Yeah, like you don't want to buy an index. But anyways, you could buy again. The reason why I said the diamonds is the Dow Jones 30 also has Apple, also has all the big names in it as well. So I would just say, and again, I could probably ask Perplexity this or something that or I could overlay on a chart the long-term gains versus from the diamonds or the Dow Jones versus Berkshire. And when I talk about long-term, I'm talking about like maybe the last 15 years or so, right? I don't know. Because of Apple's been so dramatic for Berkshire, it's really started to rip up. Okay, I'm just looking at some of my scans just to see if anything is moving around again here. And for right now, Google, Apple, Palantir, Tesla, those are the ones. Let's just have a quick look because we haven't looked at Tesla in a hot minute either. So that was a stop out there once it broke higher. Again, look at it, all over that 1.8 deuce. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, good break there. Someone said who's going to win between Neil and Sean Palantir.
Over the last 20 years, 6.8%.
There, you got it.
On the Dow Jones and 8.9% on Berkshire Hathaway. So that's average annual return, 6.8 on the Dow over the last 20 and 8.9% for Berkshire. That's according to
Does that change
that's
if you
Copilot.
If you do like 15 years? Or?
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, I asked it what I asked.
Yeah, that's good enough. No,
I
was just.
actually think I asked it what was it over the 2000s. I didn't even say the last 20 years.
That's good.
And
Okay, so close, so close. So Berkshire wins.
Yeah, Berkshire gets the win.
Yeah, so
Which
that's.
that's not surprising to me because the run on Apple specifically when they're so overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so GME is still going there. Some people looking at it there for $15. Good little level there. Palantir, we just took another piece out right there. We only have 20% left of this. So what I was going to say is someone was saying that I was short, Neil was long. Who's going to win? I've already won. Like it's not. We're not competing. I'm just like I'm already out. I've already got out of 80% of this trade.
So just come to my chart for a second. Because I explained this when it happened.
Yeah.
My intention was like, oh, I should be going long at VWAP. And then I had a bid off of this consolidation break at 25. Realized that I wasn't in VWAP, immediately took out the bulk. So I'm not even getting out there. It's like, no, the position should be at VWAP. So if it gets down to VWAP, I'll probably add to it, and then my stop will be underneath. Otherwise, I'm not doing anything with this thing. Because I'm kind of trading it off of air there if I'm holding on to that position. So I just kind of immediately got out. So not much to see as far as I'm concerned. Like the short's up there, and I thought the long would be more down around here. So if it gets there, it gets there. It's actually past 3 o'clock already.
Ooh la la.
You start to, at this time of day, you start thinking about like exit strategies and all that good stuff. Like where am I going to get out if it doesn't make the bigger move? So in that regard, like ARM, which was slowly making higher lows, I did take some out when it broke 102 here, and I'm going to get a bid 101.5 as ARM up 4% today. And the better shorts, we always try to be honest with ourselves. Like today, ARM gave you 103.5, and the VWAP short, what doesn't make sense to me, which is part of why I'll be conservative with this VWAP short is in the face of like NVIDIA and AMD just like higher and higher and higher, and the market at highs. Usually when that happens, when it starts to go, it just falls apart because it's weaker than everything else. That's not happening on ARM today. It's a very tight range for whatever reason, holding above $100. And when you zoom it out, it's actually pretty bullish the last little bit. So the higher lows, and now you're holding the 100 level. So while I still think it's a good short setup, it's not giving me as many signs that it's going to fall apart into 100 like it was earlier. I want to respect that. And also note that I still haven't gotten my dip buy in ARM. So there's that too. In my long-term account. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Their report is coming.
Yeah, like well, with Apple, Apple gave you your dip buys and Google gave you your dip buys and ARM gave it to me. I just didn't take it. Because if you're looking to dip buy a stock, I sold half my ARM position at 122. And if you're looking to dip buy a stock and this happens and you don't get any, then as far as I'm concerned, you missed your opportunity, and I was way too picky. Long term, don't be picky. That's my advice.
Yep.
Something else I was going to, it was, that wasn't GameStop. I'm forgetting something else we were talking about earlier. It doesn't matter. Baba, no.
Maybe. Okay, so good out there for Palantir. Apple, we reloaded it down there at 21, 22s. So that was pretty good out. In reload for Apple. Let's just see. I mean, it came back. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. But, you know, you can see what happened. The 200 period's now inching its way higher and higher. So I'm going to take one last stand down here. Again, out again right there when we broke back down through 40 a little bit. We just reloaded here in the 20s. So these are outs in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. So that's 30 cents right there. We will take an L because as it's coming back in right now, we can't withstand too much of this. Although I thought I was bidding, I'm bidding 05s. Okay, maybe we'll get filled. Oh no, don't tell me. Okay, hopefully it'll come. All right, fill those 6s, but we're still at 05. Let's just be patient. We'll probably get it. All right, so here it comes back in for Apple. Let's see if we can't get some returns on this 05 long.
The market's running again.
Running, yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying, like, what is Apple even doing here? So Apple is making a move down into the 10s now for 185. So be careful. We just got an 05 there again. So gonna get out if it breaks through 185, honestly. I mean, we could test that VWAP if we really, really want to get spicy with it and not dump this immediately. Why don't we just do that? Because we've been able to get in and out a little bit here. I'm pretty fine doing this, I feel like. So let's just wait for VWAP then. That's 184.80 on Apple. I just want to make sure that is something here. I'm just checking another. This is a 5-minute chart on Apple. Yeah, so we're right there too. Okay, just want to double check. So that is right. Sometimes our VWAP won't be accurate, but it is now. 184.75. So I think that's a good one. And again, sometimes it's just because of like those dark pools, but I got rid of some of those. So I feel like we're okay. Yeah, 184.75. Okay, so that's the level for me now, 184.75 on Apple. So that means we got to slow down, not take any more shares because we don't want this thing to drop down in now 25 cents from where we are now. And then we have so many shares that will just wipe out everything. So let's just wait to see. Market up, Apple down. Definitely something's up with this. So be careful with your positions.
I just got trailed out at VWAP on Intel, and Paramount's catching a bid. So two things. One, Intel broke VWAP here. I was just holding on to the last like 10%. This is the earlier position. I told you I wasn't adding to it there as well, but it just broke VWAP, so you'll no longer see that. Rivian's another old one that could come out, but that's actually kind of slowly working. But Paramount just double bottomed here at 13. So the stop went from like here. I'm just tightening it up even more because I do feel this could catch a bit of a bid off the 13 level. Not enough that I want to go long. I don't want to go long against the news, but you know, it's enough that I'll get out of it. I want to hold for potential break just in case it breaks 13, but I'm going to trail this one out. It does feel like it's starting to move a little bit to the upside. It's settled down as well. So when a stock has news and then craters, when the volume dissipates, that's when you can start to see a bit of a relief rally in Paramount. We haven't heard anything since that one report that the deals were off the table. James Choi, Oracle, you must be bouncing hard, not bouncing. Although maybe bouncing is like if it's really, really going. Oracle, I like Oracle. I don't know what it's doing today. It is bouncing nicely. I don't know if that's bouncing hard though. It's a nice bounce on Oracle. It's a happy bounce on Oracle. It'll be a happier bounce if it can get above our Powell top. And I'm blaming this top on Jerome Powell. So every time we reference this high, any stock that doesn't take this out when the market's taking out highs, I think is just relatively weak until we're through those Powell levels. Fed days give you great opportunities, not just to trade, but to observe like liquidity levels on stocks because you run heavy into them. And when you get massive reversals like we did on Wednesday, it reveals to you some really, really big price levels that you don't have to guess at anymore. And that's one on Oracle, it looks like at 116.5. The other one we talked about was AMD, which I'm sure still cannot break 151. It's on the NASDAQ. There we go. 151. I'm missing data on that.
Do you have any proof of that?
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You know what? Now I actually feel like
Sometimes I have good ones, but
I'm gonna make myself a rum and bourbon Manhattan tomorrow when I watch the game. It's a new thing anyway.
Rum and bourbon Manhattan.
Well, so you make a Manhattan with
Right.
it's bourbon.
Right.
But
Putting a dash of rum in there?
I have a thing where I do like 2/3 of the bourbon. I do like 1/3.
Okay.
Kind of like a brown rum, and it's kind of sweet and it tastes good. And I'm gonna get to actually watch an entire Leaf game tomorrow for the first time in a while. I watched the playoffs.
Though you may fall
I
asleep.
might fall asleep. It's 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
but on the weekdays I do not stay
No, I mean,
up.
I probably would. I mean, I'm saying like, you know, once it gets like around 11 o'clock, it's like.
I'm gonna throw my jersey on, signed by Wendell Clark, and if you can't guess whose Leaf jersey I have, then you're not very creative. It's pretty obvious if you really think about it.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think people will be able to figure it out.
Probably be able to figure it out. Unless you're a Leaf fan.
But
you
they may not be Leaf fans.
You might not know that this guy played for the team because he was more famous on. He was probably more famous on Calgary, I'd say, because he scored like 30 goals in Calgary.
Yeah, better career there. Yeah, but a famous probably. Toronto.
So arms working. I trailed out of Paramount there. We were talking about that. Paramount just came back through 13. Still on AMD. Just came back to 13.20. So we're out of the Paramount trade. The thing about trading news is as long as you have a plan of action, there was a good level to short on the way back up. So this is 1360. Like the last 2 days, you had 1360 support. So there was a level to short on the way back upside that wasn't VWAP or all the way back in. If I don't have that, I don't trade it. If you do have it, you can take some swipes at it. And now I'm going to be out. 13's holding. Good for anybody that might be long. I don't know if anybody's actually long in Paramount, but good luck if you are.
We just had a nice move back up for Apple, right back to flat.
Well, I don't
on
like
this
that wick
trade.
at all.
And it bounced immediately. Like we're long at 13s. It went to 11s. And then it hit the 200 and now Tank City back in right now. So I would not be surprised at all if this is given up
What's
now.
up with this
we just
wick?
rejected, what, Palantir?
Yeah, I'm not at it. I'm not buying
what's up with it?
VWAP. I'm not
Aren't
buying
you-
VWAP anymore.
Come on, man. Aren't you short, man? Aren't you short?
Hell.
There it is. All right, let's go face slap. I didn't even notice. See, there you go. Neil, bring that to my attention. And I was like, what's going on with Palantir? And then he's like, what's up with that wick? I thought you meant the Apple wick. But there it is to the downside.
Yeah, Apple's not going
Look, when I told you that, like, and Neil explained his trade, and what I was saying about, you know, competing, not competing, winning, not winning, it's you got to get out. Like, when these levels hit, like, sure, we could have reloaded it, but again, that wasn't my thing. I mean, the market just made a nice move up. So, I mean, I didn't really want to reload that and create more havoc. So we already reloaded it there. We could have done that again heading into the close, although it's power hour. Probably should have reloaded it, you know what I mean, to be honest with you, but we didn't do it. There it goes to the downside. Now we only have 10% left of Palantir as we put that back into our pocket right there. Good hold. But again, like Neil said, like we don't have any wicks like that all day. So
That was
or not a wick, I guess a full candle, and it's holding down there. So
Well,
that's almost the opposite of a wick.
Yeah, I'm not buying it down. I was going to buy
It could have been news.
at that level, but I'm not going to do it. It's 312. There's enough. The problem is,
Kathy sold maybe.
like, if it's really late in the day and there's not a lot of time for follow through, that kind of like mean reversion type thing just snap in. But we have an hour, almost an hour to go. Like, you break VWAP, you could just trend lower. The fact that we're holding 18,000, like, why would something that was strong be turning weak when the market's holding the highs? So I don't really like that. Like, even on Apple here, down underneath that 85.
Oh crap.
Like, it's like, why is this falling now? It doesn't make that much sense to me. Obviously, ARM's going down, but I did not get my next bid on that stock. Yeah, I'm 101.5. I'm sitting at it's like 60s. If this does break, I know I said I was getting a little bit less optimistic about ARM falling through, but if it does break 101.20, then it could see the 100 level, and I will hold some for that level for sure. What else we got going on? Carvana's breaking down. Yeah, I didn't trade Carvana today. I didn't have a setup, so I didn't make a trade. See, that's how it should go. I feel a little bit better about that because I feel like I didn't really love anything about Carvana. I made 2 trades yesterday, anyways, because it was going to be in play, which is not enough. Carvana, the only trade I think that might have made sense was like in here off of VWAP, which I'm really hoping somebody here that I know likes the stock could have had like 120 into VWAP and then into the high of the day. Because that's probably the best opportunity, risk to reward, that's a setup that I think you could sink your teeth into. And now it's giving up VWAP as the market's still at the highs. So why is the market holding up here when everything I'm looking at just did a big dip?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Like Google's doing what?
I mean, we kind of thought that Palantir had that chance, but Apple, just as an example, I just want to show everybody, like while Neil was talking, we got that dip buy, and you could have just got it again at VWAP. So we got 80s or 81s, which gave us an average price of 93s. So it just popped back up into 93 there. And I took basically not a lot out. I took out about 20% or so of what we have. So I'm still not, I have another offer there, unfortunately, like at O's. Maybe we can get back up there. But Apple's looking a little dangerous here. It should already be back up. It should have bounced here, and it didn't. Now we're like hoping that VWAP can hold. That's not the strategy that I like to do. So, all right, well, here it comes back up. We could take the rest out now, clean our hands, and then that would be it. And we'll be like, okay, good. You know, is this what they say, Ramin? GG, Apple? Fabian? Does that make sense if I close my position on Apple and I say GG Apple? Joe, GG no what? No re. Yeah, I won't be re in this one, man. No re-upping on this one.
You know what the re-up is, right?
I should re?
The re-up.
Yeah. I was just trying to find out the lingo so I don't get that OK Boomer thing stamped on.
No, when you're on the east side, you got to get the re-up through cheese.
Oh, I don't know the wire, remember?
And then if you're on the west side, you're going to have to run through Fat Joe. That's how it works.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the game. The game is the game is the game. That's for the game is always the game.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And you're either look, man, you're either real with it or you're not, because that's what Naaman should have understood when weekday was trying to tell
Why
him.
didn't Naaman understand that?
You know, Naaman was a fool, and what I love.
Not Neymar.
What I love about The Wire is just how real it is. Like you have characters that actually go through like real change, like they don't have some person just magically become smarter or better.
Right.
Like, they gotta do some things the hard way. There's like, you know, it's tragedy. Like you want to think there's gonna be a happy ending for the character that you think is okay. Everyone loves this guy. Like no, it just doesn't always work out that way. And the one that's a punk might be the one that gets good luck, and then suddenly his life turns around. You're like, how is that even fair? He's a punk. But that's life sometimes. The Wire is so real like that. Yeah, but anyways,
the one thing I notice is that. When we start talking about The Wire, you get into like much more of a gangster mode. You're like, yo, you don't know about The Wire. What's up? Yeah, I know. It's like you gotta have to. Like it's like you're one of those like situational actors.
I have that.
You know what I mean? We get the same way when we.
I have a proposition for you two, Ronan.
See, there we go. There we go.
Prop Joe.
Prop Joe?
No.
So if there's too many people.
If you were a character on The Wire, you'd be Prop Joe.
Okay.
You'd be Prop Joe.
I'll have to look that up. All right, yeah, The Wire. Yeah, a lot of people loving The Wire. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Wow, Ramin, instant shade. Ramin goes, she hates it, The Wire.
Ramin also.
You don't have to apologize.
Ramin also put me on camera today at lunch when I was like eating away at my salad and looked like an idiot, and she put me on camera.
I'm just saying, like, you know, some people like pineapple on their pizza. Some people like The Wire. It is what it is. You know, I mean, everyone can choose their own ish. All right, I choose you, Pikachu. Fabian, you like The Wire? Never seen it, okay?
It's on the list.
It's on the list, okay.
I know it is.
It's on The Wire.
Right next to Sopranos.
Right next to Sopranos.
You got to get on that.
Right next to Sopranos. Okay.
I prefer The Wire to Sopranos, but Sopranos is still a top 10 all-time series for me.
I got all these coaches messaging me. It must be raining outside.
Really?
Like a lot?
Like a lot?
No, okay. Because the field can withstand.
Get the rake out, dude.
But the thing is, me and Brendo, yeah, I know. Oh yeah, okay. All right. I mean, I'm looking at the weather forecast there. Not looking good where we're located right now. You see?
That's not good at all.
Show that again. What are you doing? No, I will show this one. Okay. So there's where we are right now. See, it's having the pain, and then it's all good, baby.
But you can't see the time.
No, I'm done.
All right, quick update. I just got out of some more of ARM because
there's more coming though.
It just made a little bit of a bid at 101.70, so I took a little more. I was gonna hold it for like 20 more cents, but it just bounced off that level. So we'll take a little bit more out there. So all I'm down to is Rivian and ARM, and Rivian continues to, although it just had an offer at 10, so I kind of like, yeah, I'll take some more at 10 and then tighten the stop up. Why not, as it bounced in? The market's not doing anything, and apparently GameStop is still moving.
Shout out to, GameStop. Shout out here to my guy right over here.
This is where the trade is, really.
Pikachu. Thank you for the $2 there. Appreciate that.
Holla, Pikachu.
Yeah. You know, there's a couple different characters in there. You could, I'm like more of like a Charmander guy. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys on fire. Shout out to Charmander.
Hot fire.
Yeah, breathe some hot fire. All right. What was not hot fire at all was Apple. You know, we didn't come all this way to come this way, right? Well, we did. All the way to 186, only to fall all the way back in again. And the funny thing is that remember when we were up 7 or 8% and I said, I think this is too far? Well, that is what happened. Was a little too far. Good out, good out, good out. Nice move down here for whoa, okay, really nice move down. We're watching out. Palantir's not doing anything.
What
this
the heck is happening to...
I think this is just very Apple specific right now. I mean, I don't see anything on it. This would make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I talked about Apple was probably too high up there. We actually specifically went and got like in the modern era what that last percentage was, about 9 and a bit percentage.
The modern era? This ain't baseball.
The modern era of the stock market. No, I think it actually matters.
No, actually, I would say...
Because it's like, if I'm going to say, oh, Apple's biggest day was like in 1988 when they released the MacBook for the very first time.
You know the distinction I usually make is pre and post the .com.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one, yeah.
I know, like...
Modern era is used for sports. But
I know, but no, like pre and post .com, pre and post financial crisis.
Right.
Pre and post. Now, people are probably going to start saying pre and post COVID.
No, but that's true.
As well, and it's true. And then you'd say, like, in the 70s, maybe like the gold standard when they came off.
No,
the
but
interest rate thing in the 80s. Those are like big.
Yeah.
Not that I was alive for all of those.
You were.
Just
the thing is that
I wasn't alive for at least one of those things that I just said.
Not all of them. The thing about it is that, and that's the thing, right? It's like, oh, GameStop up whatever it is. I don't know, what's it up now? What was it up at the high?
20 million%.
So you're going to say like, okay, that was a great move, but oh, well, that's not the highest GameStop ever went. One day it went 900%. So it's like those kind of things. It's that kind of
doing
relationship is sort of what I was.
We were talking about Volkswagen this morning. There. Like these kinds of things, when it goes absurd, it'll happen one time.
Right.
You know, because for it to happen again, like all of the same mistakes need to get made in the same way.
Look at this.
Literally, they're literally talking about GameStop in our ears right now, and it's still 23%. This is it's a little bit
still going.
A little impressive. Neil Roberts selling beaver hides in the 1920s NYSE.
Right.
I wish I could tell you I was that great of a hustler.
Yeah, you weren't around in the 20s.
In the 20s, son?
Come on, man. Couple decades too early.
Just a little. You're off by a little bit.
Couple decades too early.
That said, I think I look good for 197 million years old.
Yeah, you do. You look great.
Like you look this good if you were 120 years old.
Yeah, guys. All right. Yeah, GameStop. I mean, are we going to break 16 at the end of the day?
Should have bought the dip on this thing.
I mean, I think 19.
I mean, hindsight is always 2020, but like
19 looks good. No. Why is Palantir not moving?
On the daily chart, 19. Oh yeah, you're on the daily chart.
Yeah, Ramin's just doing something, so it's fine. We'll just keep it on here for now. But 19. Oh, you don't have to change it. Okay, there it is. So you have. Okay.
Like 9.
Ooh, now she's doing too much. Dance, 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 dance.
Yeah, that's. There's no need to give everybody a seizure when they're watching,
but that 19 level was, you can go to Neil's screen. His screen looks a little bit cleaner probably.
Break this, break that. You could really go, but like 16 to 19 would be the next step. It already did the first one, 13 to 15. So I was not a believer of any of that stuff. You get all your stuff here, it's short float. They report, they must have already because I see June 5th. So I guess they already reported. How come my earnings thing there's no E next to them anywhere. So I don't know when they reported, but this is saying not again until June 5th. So they must have already reported the cycle. It's getting obviously a little bit heavy up there. Whoops, wrong direction. Yeah, I'm not going to trade GameStop. I think you have to buy dips on these things, and it really gave you one down here at 14.5, or just take the secondary breakout. At this time of day on a Friday at 3:30, I'm not buying any tops because what? You want to be the sucker that bought that high when everyone takes profit going into the weekend? Not going to happen. So we're just going to hang on to what we have. If I see a new entry in something, fair enough. I took another leg out in ARM, like I said. I'll let it break this level. If it gets back above VWAP, I'm out. If it gets down to 100, I'm out. Rivian, is I'm short at 98 because I added my last entry. So I shorted originally at 2s, and then I shorted again at evens, and then I shorted again at 98. So my average price was 10. So right now it thinks I'm short 98s and 99s when really it's like 10s and 99s. Doesn't matter. It's just that was the last fill. It's not going anywhere. We get back above 10, I'll just punch out. GameStop to 0, Ponzi Fonzie says. I'll take that bet. What's our time frame?
GameStop to 0?
Take that. I mean,
No.
give me a reasonable time frame, and I'm not a bull on GameStop, but I'll take
It's
that
not
bet.
going to 0.
Not going anywhere. Remember the last time people were confident about a stock in that way? What stock was that? This one. This is the last. Remember the last squeeze name that everyone's like it's going. Not everybody, but at least some analysts were like it's going to 0 and they're done. And then they've surprised on a couple of earnings. They've done a pretty decent turnaround. I'm not saying it's a great turnaround, but enough to have the shorts. What do you think they're doing right now? They're not having bourbon Manhattans. That's what I'm, not for sure. Or maybe they are for wrong reasons.
I have a trade. Apple is about to come in right now. I was just going to talk about this, and then it came all the way back up, so we might get hit right here. I was just thinking about this wick high right here breaking through 83. We've come in and bounced a couple times off, there it is, off that bottom. So I want to try this 58.60 bottom area right now. So we did punch through a little bit here. Want to try to play some momentum back up to the upside in case we're right about Apple. We want to hold something on for this dream apparently, but for right now, let's see if Apple can go. We just got something out at 90 there. Again, if it completely falls on its face and comes back in, this is where I want to get out. I just feel like it got flushed. I mean, I don't feel like it did. I'm watching price action. It got flushed down. Huge buyback there on a nice candle. I mean, that's the same candle that got us going from 185. Same volume spike right there on that bottom. Feel like someone came in and bought that thing right back up. So there's some sellers. Like there's someone hidden here selling. Like you could see the action going through here, and yet this is 400 shares. Like there's many more shares going through. They're going to have to blast this thing. Now that I'm seeing this, I'm going to take another piece out here, hopefully at 91. Look, I can't even get filled because I'm on a lit market. Like there's thousands of shares going through, and I can't do anything. But here we go, nicely done, back up to the upside now. We just took that out. We just took that out to 93s there, 92s. Now upside move here for Apple. Let's see if it goes. I'm offering 98s, and there it goes right now. Let's do a little bit of a face slapper now as we're back in 15 cents in the money. Basically putting this trade 1-to-1 right now for our outside, for where we are right now. Good trade for Apple, getting us turned up right now as Apple continues to go. Oh, yeah, we just got a 99 there again. So let's see if Apple can break through and then potentially return to its home of 185.50-ish.
That's not the only home it has.
Palantir going to its home
It's
as well?
the home above the 200-period moving average.
Yes. If you smell
Which
what
it's
Tim
well above.
Cook
No, but the other thing
is
for
not
Apple,
cooking.
oh yeah, on a weekly. Oh no. There we go. Can we come to the chart for a
Oh,
second?
yeah, I meant to look at my account.
This is what we call I'm not saying it was in a gigantic downward trend, but it was loosely in a downward trend. Like that's kind of a lower low. It was underneath on the weekly. It was underneath the 50-period moving average. You're now going to close above the 200 on the daily and the 50-period on a weekly. And in any way I look at a stock in the long term, that's a trend reversal. If it wasn't a downward trend, I think that's a bullish close above, and that's fantastic for absolutely everybody involved. And the only dip, like GameStop just looked like it was about to give everything up here on a wick down at 16. I was just talking in the chat to price action, and I know there's a conversation going on in the chat about GameStop, and all I simply said was be careful holding really strong fundamental opinions while short-term trading a stock, because you can just price actions everything. And I was actually considering, like, should I be shorting this wick? And before I could even think about whether I wanted to, was back at 16 bucks. But this does feel like it's getting a little bit toppy here, especially that rejection. Now a second rejection off 16.
This is also, Apple is not doing kosher things.
Wait a minute, did I even pay for locates? Probably not.
In my opinion.
I can't short it.
Like, why did it just flush there? I have an offer at 97. I might just put one at 95. I'm gonna put a 95. I'm gonna cancel that 97. There, we just got a 95. All right. like it just went right back into view up again, like where we had our position. And I was like, all right, what was good is not any longer. I don't know, man. Okay, here it goes. All right, I take it back. Take it back, Tim and friends. Let's see what's happening now then, okay? Breaking through at 185 is the first step to greatness. And then after that, we'll see where we go. So we're going to do that right now, see if we can get a breakthrough there. We'll put some orders right now at 185.20. Actually, that's 17s. Let's go to like 07 right now at 185. We're now 17 cents in the money on this. I just told one of the coaches, he's like, hey, is the field okay? I said, go fly your drone over there and go tell me because, I mean, I'm at work. He says,
yeah, but the drone,
wet.
you can't tell
I
just by
didn't
the
know if it has a
drone.
drone or not.
Yeah, because you actually you have to
diamond
get
is
out there.
20 minutes away from where we live.
If it's unplayable, you can tell just by looking at it. But sometimes it can look bad, but it's like you can do like 15 minutes of work with the rake and then you're good to go. One of my favorite things to do is when they're like, you can't play today. Like, we'll see about that. We can play any day. Paramount's making a nice little bounce here. I'm starting to think maybe I should have gone long off that 13 level. It is a good level on Paramount, but it's getting late in the day.
Yeah.
Sorry, the daily chart shows you the level. I was just on a 13. I was just on a short-term chart. This is why 13 here. 13 resistance, 13 support. Talks between the sides are continuing.
This is exactly why I said do not trade. Or trade off a key level because
now that actually favors long. That's why we got out of the
you're
short.
just going to get news like back and forth. I think it's worth using like an amount of shares that is scalpable with. Like if something where if it moves out of the blue here, because the next thing you know is this thing halts, right? They can ask for a halt.
Oh yeah, that's right. I actually got trapped in one of these in a halt. And Spirit Airlines, I'm going to scalp out of this. I'm going to trail it out at 13.25. No, this is a
pretty face.
No, this is a true story, and we were live on the show when this happened. Spirit Airlines had, I forget, it was basically deal speculation. They halted the stock. They reopened it. It was a great long opportunity. It was trending and all that great stuff, long, winning, and then was holding a piece for the dream. And then at about 350 or 340 something, they halted it again. And this time they halted it news pending and they didn't reopen it. And it didn't reopen in the aftermarket and it didn't open until the next day. And I don't forget what the exact headline was, but it essentially just gapped back down and there was no chance to get out. I ended up getting out at the open. I don't think it was a weekend. I think it was literally just the next day. And it wasn't a huge amount of shares, but I still lost like a whole $1 on it. And there was nothing you could do about it in that situation.
I need to go get a water.
I didn't refill my water, which I'm usually very good about that, by the way.
What does that mean?
No, it's fine. There's only 20. I still have some left. It's usually I'm very good. There's two things that I do, like right away when I get in the office. One is I immediately fill this bad boy up. The second thing I do is I down it, and then I fill it up again. And then whenever Sean says Hydration Nation or mentions water, I mentally take a sip, which I won't do it now because you guys are in here. And I just realized, I don't want to get wrapped up in this. Just come back to the chart. Here we go. I didn't want to get wrapped up in that move. Yes, it was a breakout play, and yes, it was a scalp trade that worked. But if you're floating around here on news back and forth, it's not worth holding on to. So the first thing I did, I didn't get out of the trade immediately. I just put a stop with a tighter trail than I normally would. That's all. Like I just put a break-even stop right in here. So I did scalp something and get a win. But at the end of the day, it isn't worth holding. Unless you're trying that kind of a trade, unless you are a value investor unless you're a value investor in Paramount that you like where it is, you like the talk that's going on, and you just think you got a good buying opportunity, and you have all the reasons in your head why you think it's a good investment at that price, and GameStop is still going higher. That is absolutely insane. Rushab in the chat, I wake up at like 4:30 in the morning after like the first. I also have like a half a liter of water when I wake up in the morning. First thing I do. I don't really eat till about like 8 o'clock, but first thing I do is drink water. And the first thing I do when I get here is drink more water. Like hydrating. Like I learned that my track coach was like a very big, his wife was my university track coach. His wife was a nutritionist. So we got all these like lessons on eating and hydrating properly and all that good stuff. And I took a lot of it seriously. Mostly because I'd like to not think about that stuff. So if you build a routine, I don't have to worry about eating good. if I have a routine for 90% of my day, then I can do stupidity like eating cookies when someone puts it in front of me, because I know for most of the time I'm actually being reasonable. I said I wanted a GME dip, and I missed it. You're right about that, AJ. But you know the best decision I made? You guys heard me say when it was at this 16 level on GameStop, oh, I could pay for some locates and maybe short this. Well, that was probably that was a good idea not to short that. Better idea to go long. But if you shorted that move, which is a very normal short reversion setup, you lose. This stock is way too strong, and I have absolutely no idea why. Starvin, like my 40 time, I've only been timed once in a 40, and that was in grade 9 when I tried out for the football team. And on the very first practice, I ran a 4.7, and he told me I made the team. I went home that day and told my mom I made the football team. My mother said, no, you didn't. And that was the end of my football career. True story.
Our football coaches tagged me at 4.8, so that's how you know how close that was. No, I was like 4.9. All right, so here we go, coming back in right now. Good move back in here for Apple. We got stopped out, so it broke through VWAP. We took it right there, so let's go and ahead and see. And yeah, guys, trust me, football here in Canada is nothing at all like you guys there in the States. We may be playing in front of 14 or 15 fans and use literally the same equipment over and over and over again every single year.
High school football
not,
is like,
not overly funded.
No, not even close.
Guys, so
our football team, our high school football team wasn't that great either.
You know what? No. Not, I mean, it was nothing.
They weren't bad or anything, but
yeah, U of T Stadium is nice. Yeah, but that's U of T.
They have a really nice track.
University, of course. Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah, but our university football stadium was trash. Like our two universities literally they shared it. No, they shared, but they shared a stadium.
Yeah.
And it was at Laurier. So
yeah, Laurier. Yeah.
So like our team played in their stadium, and we were the bigger school. Like, think about that. We had more students, and our football. Anyways, Waterloo, great school, all that good stuff. But it's just weird. What else we got going on here? Rivian's not moving. ARM's still in the money, but it's bouncing back to the upside. The market. It did tag underneath 1,800 for like a split second, and I started to feel good about the shorts again. But look at the NASDAQ. Like, what is this even doing on a Friday? Nothing.
I'm going to give up on Apple.
So I'm just sitting here, really, and we have to be frank about this sometimes. Like, I'm sitting in this. No? He's not here. I think there was one GameStop. This dip right here or this break right there. I'm not going to pretend I'd ever go long here, but that's a very reasonable dip buy because it's 14.50 to 14.25, maybe 30s. It's a previous breakout price. Or you take this breakout, 15.20, with a 14.80 or a 15 even stop. Like, this is ridiculous now. If it gets to 20 bucks, it probably really, really, really is a short. And Starvin like, the only person I'm racing is when Fahad shows up. If Fahad shows back up at this office, we're going outside.
Fahad will be showing.
No, he shows his face when I'm actually here, and we're going back out in the alley, and we're gonna race, and we'll put that on whatever you guys want. Oh. You want it on Instagram? You want us to do it live? I really don't care.
Sharif wants it on TikTok.
The dude ran his mouth like he could beat. If I trained hard enough, I could beat Usain Bolt. Actual words. We're at the bar before the Raptors game. I'm not making this up. Sean knows this is true.
Yeah.
Before the Raptors game, we're at the bar. He's like,
Fahad is the most confident.
If I put my mind to it and trade hard enough, I could beat Usain Bolt in a race. And I simply informed him that that is ridiculous. I'm over 40 years old, more than almost twice your age, and I could take you out right now in a race. And he said, let's do it, and it still never happened. I love Fahad. He's my boy. He's a great kid. We love him to death. Holy crap, GameStop. What is even going on with this stock right now? 35% to the upside. We don't have a GameStop key. This is the best I can do for you guys. It says AMC on it. I feel like we should have like a rocket ship with different, like one that doesn't say AMC every single time. Because AMC hasn't been anything, for a while.
So,
sorry.
no, AMC's been
destruction
of wealth, unfortunately. for many people. Not much of a creator of wealth, as many people thought that it was at one point. It's too bad that it didn't continue, to be honest with you. Okay, so I'm kind of destructing my own wealth here because we just went in and out of Apple there, and it didn't do anything. Like, we should have just left it alone, like, you know, when we had that one play. But that was good. We just went in and out twice there. And now I was thinking to myself, again, you know, what's happened the last couple times, right? I mean, into the last couple of closes, we did have that one day. Again, yesterday into earnings, maybe a little bit of a different situation. But I don't know, how much can I zoom in here on yesterday's close? Yeah, okay, because we had the big pop up. But see, we did have, that's in the aftermarket. There was that fade, that's 4 o'clock. There it is right there at 550. So that's what I was looking at right there, 1550. Oh, you can't, oh, you can see, yeah, right here. So that's the imbalances coming through. We went from 173.40 down to 172.80 or so in about 5 minutes. The day before that, again, this is a little misleading because it was Fed day, but we did have a monster move down into the close as well. So now, will that happen into earnings? I don't know, but we're short right here, right now at 52, seeing if that is the truth. It just had such a hard time going long there that I decided to flip up the game and go a little short. So that's what I'm trying right now. Our stop is up here, taking out VWAP to the downside, to the upside. So if that happens, good on them. But I'm sitting here with a bid, seeing if we can. There it is. I'm at 46 right now. Yes, we got it. Okay, so we got some 46s. Let's go. Let's put that money back in as we just changed up our game plan a little bit there. So
I said if Rivian broke 10, I would just punch out of it. You don't see me in the position anymore. But AMC is actually trying to go now, which I'm not. I'm just very skeptical here. AMC, if this gets to like 350. If it's free locates, I'll probably put it on. If it's less than a cent, if it's a cent a share, I might just quickly pay for it because I just feel like this is a weird sympathy play. And GameStop is so overextended right now that is this really going to go past its 50 period in resistance? So first thing I do is, do we even have locates? And we do not. But AMC, there's no way it's going to be expensive. That should be less than a cent per share. The incredible Mr. Lib is saying, don't fall asleep on Costco. Gorgeous move on the daily. Add Costco to the list of things that did not quite dip far enough for a dip buy. Although I would argue that for most people, it maybe did. It just didn't dip enough for me, so I didn't get it. I'm just going to pay for these locates on AMC and hit submit. Costco, it did dip, and it is making a nice move. And it was like this and Lululemon that I wanted to buy on dips. Lululemon gave you every opportunity in a million, so of course I got into that at 50.
Oh yeah,
Costco
Apple. Oh, yeah,
didn't really get down to 600. It just got to $700. I think that should have been far enough.
Yeah, Costco's one of those ones that's so hard because it's really a dollar cost average name. Because
100%.
It's like
100%.
You wait. It's like that John Deere. I have to check that out because I was. Oh my! That's a couple times today that we've had. Shout out to Adam DeLuce and everybody that's out there that has given credit to being able to reverse plays. Like we just talked about that on Apple, man. You know, we had talked about going long. I mean, I wasn't going long up here, and we had discussed, again, trading your own style about making sure that if something goes a long way, it just doesn't just necessarily go there just to break it. It goes there because of the market. We got there to 18,000 and change, topped out a little bit, but Apple has come in when the market really hasn't come in at all. So I don't, that top, we went long, then we really started to fight it there, getting frustrated. So then your boy did this. Purple, short, boom, downside. Now we're 30 cents in the money. And now we say the opposite. Apple, get down and see what's going on with that. So we'll see now what Apple wants to do. Hopefully the answer to that is lower right now. But let's put out another bid here at 30. We have to, again, it's just about explaining it. Like, we had a hard time there. We were under VWAP. We liked the short. We had, again, understand what's happened in the past, right? So see what could happen in the future. So we've seen Apple tank in right now, and there it goes. Boom goes the dynamite right there for Apple. Nice move back in on this one. Put some more bids out, and let's see if we can really crank here into the close as we're only now 7 minutes, so 6 minutes away from the rebalance.
Oh, yeah, the early look.
The market on close and balances.
So I'm in at 35. Locates were, oddly enough, every single time I tell you it's going to be basically free for locates at Real Trading, it's 1/8 of 1 cent per share. It feels like, I think that's the default price for, we're charging you something for the locate, but we're basically making it free.
Oh my.
So this is 340. I'm short at 35, 240. That's pretty easy. First bid's in front of 330 because that's about as obvious as it gets. And then we'll see what happens. But the market is attempting to get back to the 18. The other thing to watch here, and part of the reason, like I wouldn't put this on, but look at what happened in GameStop. GameStop topped out, and now it's starting to fall back in here. So this is a sympathy play on AMC, and the only reason why it even broke the high and it got to a resistance spot, well, I can put that on watching GameStop fall in and then not have to roll into GameStop at a level that is nothing. Like it's just random prices on GameStop. Whereas you're in front of resistance on AMC while it's falling.
All right, I was just, yeah, I'm trying to do the same kind of stuff here. I was just put a bid on Palantir to get out. I mean, I don't even want to look at anything else. I'm in Apple right now. This is, for me, the only trade now. I want to be able to watch this. I'm bidding now 11s. This is a monster move for me. Like being short now at 60 and having this 40 cents and printing lower right now is big. So I'm really happy with this trade. Here, yes, sir. Here it comes down even some more. Come on, bring the pain here. You know, we got to get a new pair of shoes. 184.16 to the downside right now. Let's see if we continue. We just bounced off of that. Palantir, we'll get that out when we do, but right now I'm focused on Apple. See, so like now we're bouncing off this a little bit. I'll punch, okay, I punched some out there at 19. I'm going to cancel my 11 bid. So this is how I'm trading it, right? It worked on the way up. We were taking it out until we felt comfortable, and then held a small piece. Got some money here as well, lost some money right there, flipped it over, had the intuition. This is what it's about as a trader. You got to sort of have that ability to say, you know what, we're flipping it up. Like on Palantir, like that's what gave us a chance. You know, we were red, then we flipped it to the short, and the short was no trades against us on the short. You know, but it was a hard time. So you got to have that ability, and then the same thing on Tesla was there as well. We were long, lost, then short, now net positive. We've traded 4 names today, and I just hope that you guys have been enjoying it. You've understood a lot of the trades, and hopefully you're able to make a little bit of coin no matter what your style is, honestly. Like, lots of different styles are able to win.
Jazz hands in the chat, Bonkzilla says. Hopefully that means like quick on the keys, because like, jazz hands is like that stuff. So quick on the keys, get those outs. That's what it's all about. So obviously, so you're gonna see me right here. I was gonna get one leg out at 30, another one out in front of VWAP, but then I doubled up getting out at the 30 level because of what I just saw in GameStop. So GameStop just caught a bit of a bid. So it's falling, GameStop catches a bid and heads higher.
Oh my God.
So my decision at that point is to just take another leg out at the 30 level on AMC. So we shorted it to here. Now, because GameStop's going higher, I'm not going to give it to the high. I'm going to put a break-even stop on the AMC position because GameStop is starting to recover. So I'll give it a chance to get into VWAP and back to where it started, but I'm no longer giving it to the 340 high because I'm keeping my eye on GameStop. And then I'll continue to monitor GameStop as my futures leading indicator, that's the wrong one. Is my leading indicator for GME. When I say the futures, it's because usually if you're trading like a big cap tech name, sometimes I might look at the NASDAQ as a leading indicator. In this particular case, I'm just watching GameStop and while I trade AMC.
All right, we got our 05 print there. So it looks like it's going to be a good one there for Apple. As there it goes, now 02, now 01s. I mean, again, guys, this trade brought to you by yours truly. And there's the break right now as Apple. Again, you know, if we had that sort of crystal ball, I feel like we're doing real good, though. But there goes Apple, nicely down into the downside. I just hope you guys are in it with me. You're welcome. What's up to Guillermo? What's up to Sebastian? What's up to everybody else? I'm exhausted as you know what, but after this, we've got a big one. Ramin, where's my tweet? Recap show going to, who's doing the recap show today? Oh God, she's yelling in my ear now. All right. I can hear you right now.
It's very loud and loudly too.
All right, what is happening?
She was yelling in her ear, by the way.
Let's ring this back in. Let's go back over. I still have something in my ear. Let's go back over to Adara.
Where's Bitcoin right now?
This part of the show brought to you by Trade Ideas. Real-time scanning and alerting used on our desk by many of our traders every single day, and it can help you see what's moving in the market with Trade Ideas. You can check out the link, just use the description in the chat, and you can get 20% off. Thanks to Trade Ideas.
That's better. So we like to have fun.
I don't have one.
What's going on? What is going
Okay.
on? Someone just asked the chat, is there any news on GameStop? Not that we know of specifically. So
That's what we were trying to ask people. Like, why were they so confident in the longs?
I've seen a few, you've got like excess call volume, but okay, well, that happens when it starts squeezing, so that's kind of normal. And then you've seen some call buying probably in AMC as well, and then there was that thing potentially with Donald Trump. But nothing gigantic. Beyond Meat's going as well, Darwin. I just messaged about 15 minutes ago to the trading floor manager. I just hit him up and was like, is anybody actually trading the squeeze stocks? And maybe on Monday, should we look at other things that might potentially squeeze? Because look, Beyond Meat just made a fresh high. Beyond Meat just made a fresh high through $8, 10% to the upside. So I'm assuming there's a few squeeze names that are just going on sympathy. I only went to AMC because it was the most obvious, right? Like AMC, GME. But there's probably other things out there which are in sympathy going. I don't know if cost is still a thing, but that was one back from meme days. So remember I talked about getting more shares out 30, and then my stop is at 336. They were the headphone guys.
Yeah, no, I remember them clearly. Yeah.
And remember, the joke about it was we were trading during meme stock days, and I was sympathy trading costs, and the whole time I had a pair of their headphones at the desk. I didn't even realize that was the brand the whole way. But cost is up 27%.
Are we fine right now? People saying our speakers just blew everybody's ear out. But...
No, I actually had to throw my earpiece out because it kind of blew up in my ear. And I was like, that hurt a little bit. I'm sure it's fine now.
This is what happens when we don't get a tweet out. It starts to go against certain people. Okay, well.
Don't make Ramin cry.
Don't make her cry. I mean, I'm literally like, she's like, I want wings. What happened the very next day? Wings arrived. I mean, I trying to.
I still haven't had that brisket.
I'm trying to do what I'm.
Okay, so next week we'll do the brisket then.
Well, yeah, we could. Yeah, that's fine. The tweet is coming out. Yes. Well, then let's just go. I mean, yeah, we can go anywhere.
Well, you know what happened.
We'll have to get it with Randy.
Well, the funny thing about it is, remember, it was taco. Remember the taco thing?
Yeah, Taco Tuesday. Yep. And
so basically, there was never any tacos. There's a lot of different things we get for catering at lunch.
Really?
But tacos are. We had never had tacos.
We should have a.
And all of a sudden, I think you emailed and was like, ask for some tacos, and then they came the day that I wasn't here, and then everyone went out for brisket when I wasn't here.
The only people that went out for brisket was me and Randy. We'll be reminded of that from Ramin.
Oh, well, I thought it was everybody. I didn't. That's my bad. I thought it was everybody. I don't feel so bad about that now, but I love brisket.
You'll be invited this time, Neil. You were not here, so. All right. Pfizer. All right, here we go. Apple. So we did take something out at 184. Yeah, that was really good brisket. You can go find me here on my Instagram. You can see that. Oh, I still have that wrestling thing up here. It just goes to show how much I've checked Instagram out. Here's the brisket right here. Go follow me. Often imitated but never duplicated. It is Trader TV Sean. Right here. Here it is. Hey, there's my brother. This is when I got married, by the way.
What's up, Michael?
What's up, bro? What's up, bro? Had hair. It was great. All right.
Michael was already losing.
Here I am. Here. Who's this cool dude? My kids go, who's this Riz Master? I don't even know what that means. Here we go. Throwback Thursday, baby. These are my littles right here. Wearing the sports. We were at the All-Star game here. Shout out to wearing all their hockey stuff. Couldn't be more proud of my group. It must have been oh no, wait a second. Here's another Throwback Thursday, by the way. Look at this. This is like when we were, so same desk, but completely different office. Like Brendan's sitting down here. We had interns. Brendan's trying to figure that out. 2020. This is what we look like in 2020 right now. So go over to my Instagram. We have lots of fun things there. I don't know where there was it must have been a story, my bad. There was a thing there on the food. So I'll go find that after.
Just very quickly, Apple.
Look at Apple.
Apple 1.9 million sell imbalance.
We did it.
By the way, so if you're looking at what just happened on that last spike on Apple, it is the big sell. It's the biggest sell imbalance by notional Ford's up there, Pfizer's up there, but those are much cheaper stocks. Nikola made a move apparently, but there's a buy and bounce. If you're watching for whatever reason, if you're watching Nikola, 1.5 million.
Yeah, we got to get credit for that call out for Apple.
Yeah, no question. I think it's a great move. Obviously, at the end of the day, you want to be with the trend, right? So like, it doesn't matter when you join the trend as long as you join it. Intel's a sell of 1 million. That's about it. So Apple, Intel, TLT doesn't matter. Nikola, only because someone said nice move in Nikola, and I was pointing out that it had a big 1.5 million share imbalance. Keep in mind, why is it still on ARM when I hit enter?
Guys, we're $1.
Keep in mind, Nikola has done 100 million shares, so 1.5 million into 100 million is not a lot. I wouldn't expect that continues.
I mean, this chart speaks for itself. I mean, we're going to hashtag real trading. We're going to hashtag all that stuff. This is what real trading is. We talked about why we were short Apple. It was having a problem there. We showed you the last 2 days at close, what happened at close to Apple the last 2 days. There's going to be no better setups today than some of the stuff I've been showing, honestly. The reversal in Palantir, the reversal in Tesla, this Apple play. Like, it's the TQQs off the jump. I mean, some of these plays today, like, I would have loved to get bigger on this, but honestly, like, these are the plays, right? And so far there, it's been just a really big day. We are now $1.50 in the money on Apple, and like, there it goes. Like, if this is not, you know, long outs, flip, you know, we're pretty happy with the performance here heading into the close. And it's going to be another big day, and we're going to end at the high of the day. So far, so good here for everything. It's been a good one. Hopefully, we'll get better on Monday, but this is a good trade. I got to go back over to the desk. That's a wrap right there. The flip into the short of Apple there, for me, was pretty epic, and it definitely helped ease some of the pain of that trading rate into there. So again, good one. I'll see everybody in 3 or 4 minutes. And please, rain gods, hold off for a couple days.
Well, maybe today they hold off. I actually think it was supposed to be worse tomorrow.
Yeah, but now tomorrow's clean.
Oh, that's what I love to hear.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because like I said, birthday party tomorrow outside, I think, if that's the right one. But I'm loving it. And the end of the day, you have a lot going on this week in terms of earnings and all that good stuff. But next week, it doesn't matter. You're going to have those post-earnings plays where levels have now been set. That's the fun with it. I have no idea if all this squeeze nonsense is going to continue, and maybe I shouldn't be calling it nonsense because the moves are real. You know, like if you're long GameStop, you don't really care the reason why. Beyond Meat went, AMC went, Carvana was already going, Costs, Costs, I don't even know if they're making money anymore. That went 26% on this squeeze play. So I do think there might be something next week, whether it's retracements or pullbacks. I am now just going to, it's 357. No point having a trail. I'm just going to get out of ARM. This could be in trouble next week, but you know, at the end of the day, if this stock does fail 105 next week, I'm probably going to continue to look for the short at this level on ARM. If it ends up breaking the top, this could also go. I want to double check because we said they're reporting soon and didn't really mention it specifically. ARM is mid next week. So Wednesday, ARM is going to report. I feel like that's one of the bigger ones next week. It could be Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday next week, ARM is going to report. There's a lot at stake for them because when you have a valuation like theirs, then growth is going to matter. You know, reports matter a big deal when there's high expectations, and I feel like they got some big ones that they got to live up to here with ARM. We'll see what happens. CompuCare team, when you get there to Toronto, you'll visit us this summer. We look forward to seeing you. We still got to do that meetup at some point. We'll figure something out. But happy that everyone's having a fun time there. And yeah, it is Wednesday. Thank you, Holly, for pointing that one out on ARM. Just because you're done with Apple and some of the Mag 7 names, all the big chips haven't gone. And we haven't had NVIDIA yet. We still have to have ARM. So there's still a heck of a lot going on in earnings season for us to sink our teeth into, which always makes me excited. You know, that's what we care about here when they get the bigger moves. If you're looking for the imbalances, after 55, pretty much everything paired off, but you're still seeing continuation to the downside. Apple paired, but it's still going down. So So I don't even see it anymore. It's very likely paired off the entire imbalance, which is why the imbalances are there. So never be shocked. Just because an imbalance pairs doesn't mean the stock is going to go in the other direction. It just means it served the function that it's supposed to. You put that out there so buyers of Apple can go and throw it into the auction and not move the stock around. But it's absolutely falling apart there. Thank you, Bears versus Bull. Also, we appreciate you. Just a reminder to everybody, you saw Sean move over. It's because there is a recap show tonight, and there will still be a video tomorrow morning to look out for coming from Trader TV Live. But hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope it's not raining because I was meeting a buddy on the patio tonight, which may not be the patio anymore, but that's okay. Less than 30 seconds to go in here. The SPY are going to close up. The NASDAQ's going to close up, but this move was down late in the day, but that's cool. The market's closing near their highs, and we're up 2% on the NASDAQ. Let's drop the countdown. Adara in 10, 9, and still holding 2%. In 3, 2, and 1. Do it, NASDAQ. And 1.99% was the last print I just saw on the NASDAQ. Now it's over 2%. GameStop is absurd and ridiculous and all of that good stuff, but it did pull back, closing up 30% on GameStop. Unbelievable GameStop. Great day for GameStop. If you were in that long, congratulations to you. Shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the ones and twos. We had a lot of fun this afternoon, even though my ear got blown up for a split second there. It was always still in good fun. Shout out to Adara and Sharif all week long. All about those learning opportunities, because you always have to try to find a new strategy and keep building on your trading strategy. So that's what Learn to Trade is all about. Big shout out, as always, to our guest this morning, the NOS boss, Michael Noss, with Brennan, as always doing a fantastic job. And you know what's up. You're still having the market recap. Let's go over some trades. The Apple dump, the GameStop, whatever the heck that is. And the NASDAQ up over 2% today. Over 2%. Let's get it done. The market recap starts now-ish with Sean and Adara.
I heard push-ups. We're talking about Drake v. Kendrick Lamar right now. Welcome to the recap show. I'm Trader TV Sean.
I'm Trader TV Adara.
Otherwise known as Sean Katina and
Adara LePage.
I like it. All right. Welcome. What a good day. Was that fun to do that?
Yeah, it was really
okay,
fun.
good.
I like that. I like that intro going forward.
Okay. Well, there it is right now. We'll do a little bit of a roll call. Who's here with us? Traders stay late. We're not normally here this late on a Friday, but you know. Well, I guess we are, yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, there was some controversy there when I announced that there was no video coming through tomorrow. There is. So get ready tomorrow. We do have a podcast, video dropping tomorrow. What's up, Pro Day Trader? This guy starts watching in 2020. We did have a 35-monther, Mike Crehan,
I saw that
today as well. And then, oh no, who was it? Pro Day Traders right here. There was someone else, 22 months. I can't believe I forget who that was. But shout out to everybody that's here right now. Daryl Flinch has been here for a minute. Justin Surface, Chuck of all trades. What's up, my guy? Right there. Okay, fun day.
It was a really fun day.
We have the board up there. I was going to talk a little bit about Apple earnings. We absolutely got a great trade there at the end of the day for Apple. Apple fell out of basically out of bed there. I don't know if it got kicked out of bed for some reason, but
yeah.
That was nasty there at the end of the day. A nice fall off of 186 top. So we had talked about Apple today, looking to see a move, and they got one, man, up 6%. Adara, you and I talked about that. The largest day was 2020. We went back a couple of years, and we found 9% that day.
9.3%, yeah.
A COVID day, and then now today, Apple says, kind of hold my beer a little bit to the market, goes upside, helps the whole market get up there. The Qs finish up 2%. There's Apple hitting that 185, 186. Nice move now above the 200 period moving average. Apple and Adara, there's a marriage there, right? You have an iPhone.
I do have an iPhone 8. And I am going to be upgrading that once I figure out how to move all my info over, because I am not very good at technology. So we're going to deal with that.
Yeah.
In honor of Apple earnings, I need to switch over. So.
Do not be afraid. I think you literally, it just asks you, would you like to transfer?
Oh, that's it. Okay.
And then you just say yes, because there is something like the cloud now that just...
Yeah, so just swoops all
It
your
used
data.
to be like you had to put it all into iTunes
Yeah.
and then you get to call
Yeah,
it.
that was the thing, yeah.
Yeah, now you're all good. Look at this pretty tree that I saw today.
Oh,
You know, that's just outside our office.
that's in Queen's Park.
There is one there, and I took that yesterday.
Oh, that's a different one.
And then I felt like good vibes that if we keep putting stuff up about trees. Oh, we had one yesterday. Let me go find that. This is what I want to talk about, though, first. All right, let me see if I can do this. The smarter people tell me to hit F11. That's right. That's right.
Right in that Lacoste polo. There we
A
go.
little shimmy shake right there. This Lacoste polo is like 15 years old. Man, I need to get some new clothes. All right, iPhone right now, 46 billion. Big number, obviously, right there. I wanted to show everybody this number. It's the services number, 24 billion. That was like, didn't exist basically 10 years ago, right? Now we've got the watch, we've got different services coming through, we've got cloud storage that people are all over with Apple, obviously the iTunes revenue coming through there as well. Actually, I don't know if iTunes revenue is in services, to be honest with you, but there we go, huge net profit number, 23.6 billion. Services, wearables right there with the watch and the AirPods. Keep calling them iPods, but that's those little
I
things.
think that's fair, because how can you have both an iPod and an AirPod, Apple? Like, the branding is overlap.
It bugs me when the government and people come after. They're the largest taxpayer in the United States, 4.4 billion in the quarter. Yep. Well, so many sales, right? Paying
makes sense.
taxes
It makes
there,
sense. I just
employing a lot, so on and so forth, expenses, so on and so forth. But yeah, R&D, a nice little number there. I feel pretty good about owning some Apple. And then, of course, we all know why. Hit F10. Hit F11 to get out of it. There it is. We also know why Apple sort of went crazy today as well, because of the
China sales.
correct
And the $110 billion share buyback, which actually, fun fact, I was reading that day that we had the biggest move there, March 2020. Guess how much they gained in one day? $110 billion roughly.
Dang.
In that one day. So now about almost, I can't believe it, 4 years later, just over 4 years later, we have a nice 6% plus day here on a $110 billion share buyback.
Very impressive for Apple, helping the market get back to where it needs to go, man. We had a little bit, a couple days of questionable action there, but Apple, again, basing out, forming. Shout out to Danielle Shea. Her and I and Adara talked all about this yesterday. A lot of fun yesterday with Apple. But that's not the only story that we're going to talk about. So let's just see the heat map here and go over a basic market recap if we can. Ramin, let's just talk about some of these names that are on here. We did have a nice day for Amazon, but strong earnings from Apple. And then, of course, a lower than expected NFP, non-farms payroll, sends Microsoft, Meta, NVIDIA, and most AMD, most of these tech names to the high side. Apple has its best single day since November of 2022 after beating expectations on China sales and on the buyback. ISM PMI comes in again a little bit. I was just reading this right now, a little bit below at 175 versus 240. So jobs a little cooler, which, why does that help us, Adara?
Well, that helps us because we want to see a bit of a cooling in the economy. We actually had Fed's Goolsbee saying today that this number gives him, quote unquote, more comfort. And if we see more jobs numbers like this showing a bit of a cooling, he'll continue to be more comfortable.
I like it. That's bang on. The thing is, 8 months ago,
8 months ago, I would have been sitting here like,
you're like interest rates?
yeah, what?
You're like Goolsbee? Is that like a Halloween thing?
Right? I'm like, who's Fed's Goolsbee? And I was like, I know who all these guys are, all the, like, and different opinions they might have. Like, we all know that we get a little bit worried when Kashkari takes the mic.
Uh-oh.
It's cool to be here.
And Kashkari's first name is?
Neil,
Correct.
but spelled differently, 2 E's.
Yeah, you'll never be reminded of that ever.
Never. Well, how would I? Because there's no
how
other
would you
Neils
know?
here, so why would we
How would you
ever
know?
come?
What happened to Eli Lilly today? Lilly down 2.77% again. So this is a name that we had talked about on our podcast that we nailed the earnings on that for sure. Here's earnings, boom, to the upside. But guess what? We're all the way back, not all the way up. We're all the way back. So I don't know what's going on with Eli Lilly there. We'll find out more about that. Research to come next week. The only negative sector, although gold looks like it was down a little bit there today, we had oil, silver, and gold. So some of the commodities downside today. I want everybody to note the third topic. You see what the third topic is on there, Adara?
Trader Talk Q&A, Adara.
Right. So Adara's been live now for 3 weeks?
3 weeks, exactly, yeah.
3 weeks, so nice one. I'm not going to do the whole let's talk to Adara about what her week's been like. I want the viewers to ask Adara, you know, has to be somewhat cool.
Okay.
Basically anything they want trading related or some fun whimsical things as well. You're probably down for that.
I'm down for whimsical and trading related.
All right, so I'm going to give a big shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Go find those questions, put them in the chat. We will pick them out. Bears versus Bulls, message me, and in just a matter of minutes, we will do a quick little Q&A there with Adara. That should be a lot of fun. So, okay, back onto earnings now. So we did have Coinbase come through there. And again, if you are missing some of the reports today, you can still get our watch list, right? Watchlist.tradertv.live. I'm going to try to pop this out so I can show it to you just real quickly here. This is our watch list. Good morning, Sean Katina. It's so friendly. It's
so
you know,
formal.
it's like a very, very nice watch list coming through there. We have economic events here as well. I tweet those out, a little summary, and then here's what we're talking about. Here's Coinbase. Actually started the day down 4.5%, almost 5%. But look at this, man. A nice number on the sales side, 1.6 versus 1.3. A nice EPS, and then we were helped out today. Get that out of here. By, let's just flip this over and see what Coinbase wound up today. It does fall back in, but if we go into a 3-minute chart, let me just show you what the day actually looked like on a 5-minute chart. We had a nice run up for crypto, and I have to open up my Bitcoin chart. Maybe you can go get Bitcoin price, because we were bouncing around today. I have it up too, I'll just have to pull it. But it started to go, and then it got faded. But look at this 220. The thing about when you're trying to trade earnings plays, I always liked, what is Bitcoin's price? You got it?
Yeah, it is almost 62, so 61,838 according to Binance.
So we did bounce off 60,000, so that's probably some of these bottoms. We talked about that. But again, when you're looking at trading earnings plays, no matter what happens with Coinbase, nice move up. Look at the early flush. Like, what changed? It's just the market hits it back down to the downside. And if you guys, the craziest thing is, if you rewind to about 8:38, when I was asked about Coinbase, I said, we're going to be shorting this 232. We did not do that. It came up right into that, fell in, and then the trade of the day, I think, again, for Coinbase, would have been respecting the bottom there in the pre-market, because that came right in. Look at this, high from yesterday, respected, bottom from the pre-market. It had a chance for both sides to win. Both the long and the shorts could have banked there on Coinbase. End of the day, down 2.64%. Kind of a nothing burger there for Coinbase.
Pretty much, yeah.
Another name that we wanted to talk about was DraftKings. DraftKings today, again, nice high of 46, another number that we talked about. Good earnings report, but again, fades out at the end of the day and winds up the exact same percentage as Coinbase, down 2.74%.
Exactly.
So not exactly, but within
Close.
0.1. So there's DraftKings. If we come to DraftKings quickly, Ramin, just to show you that we did end near the bottom of the day again for DKNG, as the whole market got faded at the end of the day. The Qs held out, but makes that little bounce into 435, a good mark right there. All right, the questions are starting to pile in a little bit here, but we can still go on. What was the name that you were trading today? You were trading SOXL? No.
I was trading some SOXL.
Okay.
My best name of the day actually was the TQQs. And why I'm really proud of what I did with the TQQs, it's not like every trade in the TQQs was a winner. So first I went long off a level, realized it wasn't working, got out, started going short, accidentally fat-fingered out some of the position, but I added back in, was able to have a nice winner there, then continued trading off the level. And I was really proud because I did have a couple losing trades on it, but I was able to manage the position sizes and make sure that I was minimizing my risk. So proud of what I did with the TQs, ended up slightly positive on the day. The other one I was really happy with was a Mara short. This was actually my first pay for locates as well, so I was really excited. I was like, oh man, I can't short Mara. And Neil was like, now you can. And I was like, thank you. Got me the locates there, and I had a nice little Mara short off that 1750 area. So that was my big Bitcoin play today.
Nice. Okay, good. Like that play. iBit, Bitcoin, lots of stuff to
lots
trade
of
there.
stuff there.
And today, okay. So I just tweeted something out here, whoopsies, that you had shared as well with me, and that was this. And we had talked a little bit about Berkshire here. So this is so far in 2024. So on Saturday, so the earnings coming tomorrow for Berkshire. So we can't do anything about it. But here it is right here. Has outpaced some of America's biggest companies such as Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla so far this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so BerkB jumped 12% versus 5.25, 5.2 advance in the S&P 500. So there it goes again. Obviously, Tesla down this year, down about 25%. Apple just now trying to get back. I feel like we'll have to look at the price after today for that one. Microsoft, but look at that. It is Berkshire still on the high side. And again, I feel like a lot of that is obviously because of the banks. We did have some nice run-ups in some bank names.
Yeah.
And we do know that Berkshire is involved with that. And here's the TQQ, again, a triple levered ETF, what Adara was mentioning there into her trading. So again, I feel like out of all of the names that have dipped into earnings this week, the one that excites me the most to go over there and have a little jaunt, maybe buying some of this dip, would be Meta. But the problem is, it hasn't gone down since its earnings day. It had the huge move up, and now, even as we zoom in here a little bit to see what's going on with Meta, it's now been, sure, we went up, we did fade back in, but we hadn't created a new low from its post-day one earnings. So I always say give names 3 days. So here's 1, 2, 3. Now that turns out to be the bottom there at 430, Adara. But since then we've bumped right back up into 450. For me, I feel like I'm kind of buying right into this gap right there. So I'm going to hold back on Meta. Has there been any interesting names that you've seen off of earnings? I mean, I know Carvana was pretty interesting. We're going to go over that in a minute.
Oh yeah, Carvana was spicy. I think in terms of earnings names that I found really, really interesting, I think Tesla has been kind of interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of a post-earnings name, but I've actually been following Pfizer a lot since the earnings. Shout out to someone in the chat, actually, I believe it was Passover Trader, mentioning this one to me on day one earnings. That was my strongest name of the day on Wednesday. I was able to take along on that. And I've noticed that one's been pretty strong since. We had Josh Brown yesterday announcing that he's quote unquote doubled down in his position. Unfortunately did so while I was at a short, but either way, yeah. Pfizer, nice look there for Pfizer. So that's one I've noticed having a lot of strength here off of earnings.
And now you can sort of realize the power that some of these influencers can have.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Could you imagine trading in 2020 when you got all these people yelling out about
Roaring Kitty,
all these different coins and these different names that are coming through? Is he selling? No, he's not. Kitty cat this and that. Okay.
Kitty cat this and that. Quote of the day.
No, shout out to Roaring Kitty, man. That guy made out okay at the end of the day, and, and definitely helped a lot of people. There's a lot of people lost on those trades, unfortunately, but was a fun time, and definitely some traders banked over there. Look, now we're going to get 1, 2, 3 weeks, and it looks like in a row right here with a close positive for the NASDAQ. So that happened just today, right? We did have a nice candle there, up that 2%. Blasting us. So we were down here. We were about to be red for the week, and then no thank you. Nice upside move right there, getting the Qs back up there, led by the big dog. That is Apple. I just wanted to go over that because we've had some names come through here. A lot of traders worried about IWM. Do you know what that is? The Russell?
It is the Russell 2000.
Which is what are the constituents there? What makes it?
These small caps.
Right.
Small cap ETF. Yeah, right. Russell 2000.
Yeah, great job there, Adair. That is 100% right. A lot of people worried about this index because rates getting pushed back, right? So the rate cuts getting pushed back does not help small to medium, smaller size companies there as their cost of borrow continues to go up. A stock like Apple that has billions of dollars in cash, higher rates actually helps their net margin for that. So it helps them. They actually make money on their deposit because Apple's holding those billions of dollars in the bank. Hence why they can give such a big dividend and things like that. That's why a lot of these Russell names won't give a dividend at all. IWM bounced though. The interesting thing for me is we've bounced off that 200 period. A lot of traders looking for some value could be found in IWM. The other one, XLI for industrials. This has been a huge move on the weekly, all the way back in. And again, it's possible dip buy opportunities there. Some names like Caterpillar exist. Look at this on the weekly. A lot of people were like pounding their chest on Caterpillar. A great trade up, but now you've had 1, 2, 3, 4 straight down weeks for CAT. Not nice. Another name though that I think needs to get bought up. I mean, tractors aren't going anywhere.
They are not. And
neither is agriculture. If China can get their act back together, I like Caterpillar, and I like our friend John Deere, who, Miss Danielle Shea, me and her go back and forth. Every time it comes to 350, I miss it. I was bidding 350, went to 353 the last time that came in. Okay, let's get exciting now, and let's go over to Trader Talk and Q&A. Everything all right over there, Fabian? No. Good to hear. All right, it's Friday.
it is Friday.
What's your favorite day of the week?
Favorite day of the week, I like a Thursday.
Yeah?
Because I feel like it always has a certain vibe to it where you're like near the end of the week.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've always enjoyed a Thursday.
I like Thursdays. All right, Adara, here we go. All right, I'll put this question in here, but I'm going to answer this for Adara.
Okay, okay.
Ask Adara anything. Brought to you by Sean. First question. No, so I mean we can talk a little bit about this, but we don't really discuss our trade size. But the first question here is from Luis Tortora. At Adara, how has your trade size been now that you are live? So let me just reword that a little bit. Now that you are live, can you see the importance? And it's a loaded question because the answer is yes.
Yes.
But how important is it to make sure that you put on the proper sizing at the key levels so you don't get carried away, too much FOMO, potentially losing money when there isn't a trade there? How has proper sizing been and affected you as a trader since you're live?
Well, I think it's huge because I think the thing is, I was always really cognizant about sizing, but now I've noticed both the importance of having small sizes when needed, but also sometimes having bigger sizes if that's part of your plan. Like I remember one of my more successful trades, I think either late last week or maybe earlier this week, I had a short on Snap. I think it was earlier this week. I shorted Snapchat.
You could snort it too, yeah, it's fine.
I shorted Snapchat off of that $15 level, but I built my way into it, and I said as long as we stay below 15, I'll be okay, right? And so that ended up working out. But the thing is, too, is because I keep my risk size really small. So I feel more comfortable in some situations within reason, taking slightly larger position sizes if I really like the setup and if I'm not risking too much. But generally, I like to keep it pretty small, especially if it's a trade that's a little bit more of a whimsical. Like I like the levels, but I'm not 100% sure about how it's going to go.
I have a really cool graphic that I haven't hit in a while. It's for Stock Blitz. I used to do something like Jim Cramer Mad Money does lightning round. So this is Stock Blitz.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool?
I like it.
This is like a blitz of questions coming at you right now. Question blitz starting right now. Adara, Volky wants to know what your favorite Starbucks order is.
Grande matcha frappuccino, almond milk, no whipped cream, extra matcha.
All right, so not too many details in that one. All right, so I like that one. Mocha is what I got.
Matcha. Like green tea.
Matcha, that's mine too. I like matcha these days. Okay, matcha.
Nice.
All right, me and you will go for a matcha date.
We got to do
All right, very next question here. What are two things other than trading that you are passionate about? This from viewer AV.
Other than trading, okay. I love rap music, and I also really love film and writing for film. Yeah.
And I already know the answer to this one. I think we've maybe already mentioned him here on the show. Favorite rap artist currently?
Kendrick Lamar.
Favorite rap artist past?
Nas.
Perfect. I mean, I've seen both them. Okay, so all right. So right now, I mean, Nas was something else. Kendrick is amazing too, but he's beefing with our guy here. All right. Question for Adara here, coming in the chat again. Remember, this is Stock Blitz.
Okay.
This is Question Blitz.
Question
So
Blitz.
get ready.
I'm excited.
Another one from AV. Okay.
Okay.
This guy's all about it. Or girl, I don't know.
I like it.
What's your favorite? What do you want to answer? Book.
Favorite book? Okay, this is a good question.
Might be two. We can save it maybe because.
I like Gillian Flynn. I like Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I'll use that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, are you more passionate about a favorite movie or a favorite TV show?
Okay, I love Law and Order, so I'm tempted to just say like Law and Order because I like the whole franchise, but I would say generally movies more. Yeah.
All right, this is actually a good one here, and I'm interested in, I mean, they've all been good, first of all.
Yeah, they've been great questions. Thank you, guys. This is fun to answer.
What was that, Ramin? Every time I hear my name out of her mouth, I think there's something going on. Okay, so Sebastian says to Adara, what would you rather want to own? 1 Bitcoin or 12 ounces of gold, but that doesn't really matter. The idea would be, what would you rather own, Bitcoin or gold?
I think I'm going to pull a Peter Schiff and say gold.
Okay, I like that. Any reasons why?
I think, honestly, I think I need to be better informed. I'm going to be really honest with you. The gold's been pretty strong lately.
Yep.
I know Bitcoin right now currently around that 61,000 level, but that has been a little bit of support, so now I'm worried it could be resistance. Based on current levels, I'll say gold.
Okay, let me see what gold's doing right now. Again, gold was down today, but yeah, gold a little bit of a pullback, but not that significant, right? When you're talking about the pullback that we've seen in Bitcoin down about 13-14%, right here, gold 222 down to 212. Take $10 off that. That's down 5%. Very conservative answer, but I like it. I I thought you would have maybe gone the other way, but this is not Ask Sean. We got to have an Ask Ramin one day.
Oh my gosh, and ask for me and Fabian.
Yeah.
Yes.
She ain't about to hide no more.
She just said.
All right. Please ask me about the what's the hollow moon?
I do not know.
Okay, I don't know about that one. Hold my beer. Okay. All right. You want to do something? Call up the SPY. Do you have charts going on there?
I can get up the SPY.
On a daily? Okay, we'll get a question. There's a question about where does Adara think the SPI is going? SPY, sorry, it's the S&P 500 is what that is. You can call up on TradingView wherever you want. We'll have a quick look at that.
Pull it up.
And then just do a quick analysis on the daily and see
Yeah.
what you think on that one. Put her to work. Why not?
Of course, yeah. I like getting put to work.
Someone could ask me a question. I feel kind of lonely.
Sean,
all right.
what's your favorite day of the week?
Good question, Adara. Thank you for asking that. How did you think about asking me a question there?
Well, I was trying to go back and volley.
I'm just okay. My favorite day of the week. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Saturday. I mean, the thing is that I don't really want to say a weekend because I really like coming in and trading, and I kind of feel like, yeah, but you know, now after having kids and everything like that, Saturday is like a huge activity day, so I'm gonna go with Saturday.
I have a question for you. So I know your daughter listens to Olivia Rodrigo and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Would you rather go see Olivia Rodrigo or Taylor Swift with your daughter?
Olivia Rodrigo, I would go, but apparently that's a dangerous concert to take your kids to. I've heard.
Really?
I just think if I get surrounded by a bunch of Swifties, I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
I don't think anyone
I'm not
wants to
sure
be
if I
surrounded
can
by a
deal
bunch
with
of
that. I mean,
Swifties.
I need my wife to be there for sure.
That's fair.
I feel like Olivia Rodrigo may be a little older crowd.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit. I know my dad listens to her as well, so I think she does have like a more broad fan base maybe than Taylor Swift.
But I did realize that when I went on a date with my wife to go see Travis Scott, that everyone thought that I was a narc. Because,
Really?
yeah, because everybody was like half my age.
How was that concert though? How was that?
How was that concert? I want to go.
I'm sure it was awesome.
I didn't want to leave. How was that concert?
He's got some good
I
stuff.
was like,
that
yo,
so fun.
babysitter. Yo, what are you saying, babysitter? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was great. I actually had the guy beside me. He was convinced that I was a narc.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's
that was great.
unfortunate.
And I'd tell him like a little bit in, but I was like, no, I want him to enjoy it because he was like not even moving.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was all good.
At
It
a
was all
Travis
good.
Scott concert, you need to be moving.
Yeah, it was great.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that was.
That's amazing.
Everyone thought Drake was coming out, but he did not. All right. Okay. So, do you have the S&P 500
I do.
up?
Okay.
Okay. So we do have a question from Don T. Trump. I'm not sure if it's the original or not.
We'll have to find
but
out.
where does Adara think the S&P 500 is going by end of year? But I just want you to have a look at the S&P 500. Can you get her screen? The one she's perfect.
There is a level
Yeah,
that
what
I
are you
think is
thinking?
interesting. And so if we come back here, February 2nd, okay, we wick Groundhog Day. We wick as high as this 495 area here, right? Then we kind of see a little, try to get above this 500 area, fail. Then we come back here to this 495. And then we have this nice gap up here coming in from February 21st, February 22nd. Now, then we come back to that 495 level again with that closing candle on April 19th. So I think this could be an interesting level if we hold that 495 as support because we've come into contact with it a few times. That's really my main level. I do like support and resistance. That's kind of the main things I'll read on the chart. But I think 495 could be an interesting support level. A little bit above that right now, though, mind you. So I would say my next level of interest, if we go higher, is maybe 516. Definitely did a little bit of dancing around 516.
All right. So just a very, very basic question. From what we know about interest rates possibly getting cut at some point, or maybe not, do you feel like the market is higher or lower by year end than today? Already up 5.5%.
From today?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're necessarily end down, but I think we could go lower because I think, and from a lot of what I've read as well, people are like, Fed Jerome Powell keeps getting people's hopes up, but we're not seeing a lot to back that up. We just had Fed's Michelle Bowman today saying that she actually thinks there still could be a hike if inflation doesn't cool. So I don't really know if all of the Feds are necessarily agreeing with what Fed Chair Jerome Powell has been saying at these meetings. That's my take on that. I think it could get worse.
I like it. Wow. All right. Great answers.
Gonna be honest.
All right. The next one. Future Eddie says, hey, Miss Adara LePage, what has been your biggest challenge going live?
I think the big...
Three more questions.
Okay. So I think the biggest thing is, and I have, I've said this, I used to trade a lot of Mag 7s, Eli Lillys, these very big, expensive, flashy, Lambo car type stocks. And I think the biggest challenge that's going live is finding stocks that work for me that I'm a little bit comfortable using with my stop loss and making sure I don't get shut down. So I think getting more used to these crypto stocks, for example, the TQQs, the levered ETF versions of stocks and the SOXL, I think has been not necessarily a challenge, but it's been the biggest thing for me. I will say one thing I didn't expect is I've been having less fat finger moments since going live, which was an unexpected blessing.
Fantastic. We have a super chat from here. It says, DJ Marshall, what's up? Hip Hop Forever. Neil and Adara, say it loud. Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang. What's up with that? I said to DJ Marshall, like, I've seen Wu-Tang. Like,
You have?
Yeah, yeah. So, like, you know, throw
That's
up those W's. I actually saw him with Nas at the, that's what I was trying to,
It's the most 90s
at the
concert.
Molson Amphitheater last year or two summers ago.
Amazing. Oh, I forgot they were coming and I wasn't able to go.
Did you just do like gun salutes at me?
I don't think I meant to.
Okay, okay. All right, there it is right there. Best trade. All right, and what did you see that led to that trade? Oh, for me.
Yeah, he wants to know
Thank
your
you so
best
much for your question. I mean, best trade today. We're just gonna be real quick because this is the Adara show, not me. All right, so
Say that.
I really thought this was my best trade. I had so many today, but honestly, just into the end of the day, the reason why this Apple trade I thought was really good is because we were long. We did get hit there. We brought that long back through 185. We went long again. Then as we struggled underneath VWAP there, we lost twice on a long. And then I said, let me look into this. The last couple days, we had monster closes to the downside with big sell imbalances. So I was like, huh? So we just shorted it, and then right there into the close, we absolutely, we talk about it's nice when a trade works pretty much exactly the way you think it should.
It's so nice when that happens.
So that to me is why it was the easiest. You asked for the best trade. That was the best trade because it was the easiest.
I like that.
So I'm gonna go with that
That's a
as
good
an
answer.
answer. Thank you for the question there. All right, now we have one more question. All right, this isn't bad. I mean, we love Daryl. Shout out to Daryl. Daryl was one of the original guests on our show
Nice.
when we had trader guests. Like, we had guest of the day.
That's awesome.
Traders from the chat.
That's so cool.
I've tried to bring it back, but, you know, Ramin's too busy to do that. Okay, so Adara, he says, Adara, have you come across any stock that you now avoid trading? This is from Daryl.
Oh.
For him, it's Netflix. Unless it's the best setup ever. I mean, do not avoid the best setup ever. And if you are a fan of some group, that song's called The Best Song Ever. Have you heard that song? That's the title of the song. All right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What's that name again? It's a boy band. One Direction. One Direction. You have to have the capabilities of going both directions in the stock market.
Yeah.
Unless I have best setup ever. So what is your stock that you're like, Nepa?
Okay, so for one, Daryl Flinch, I agree Netflix is really hard to trade. I would say it's less one stock and more.
In the
Yeah, the One Direction. But I think more is like, I got distracted by the One Direction. But I think as a rule, I've said this, small caps that halt, I generally try to avoid because one of my first trades ever in the sim was a small cap that halted. I got involved. It halted $1 to the downside. And it was just by pure luck that I had a small share size that I didn't get stopped out on that. So I think if a stock has halted to the downside, I do tend to avoid it. But also Netflix is a good answer as well because that one I've had some issues with in the past.
All right, one more, because I really like it. Then we got to go because it's one more.
More
Yeah,
time.
Friday, baby. I remember, Adara, this is from Rob EV. I remember when you were so fearful of shorting. Remember that? I remember that. as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
I had to come over there and tell you, hit the damn short keys.
You did.
How have you now changed into a great trader? That is amazing. Well done. So what made you sort of realize that shorting is kind of the same as going long?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Robbie V. I remember once it was both you and Obi at the same time. I think it was Halloween, and you guys were like, yeah, so Adara, just go short. It's the same as going long. And I know Obi also liked shorting as well. And he was like, yeah, like literally it's the same logic. Like he did one of his little Obi talks, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And you were also there on the other side of the desk, like eating your salad like Adara, just try the short. So, and my first short.
Why do you have to bring up the eating the salad part?
I wanted to contextualize the story.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it was during lunch. Also, bless you. But yeah, so what happened there was I just remember that my first short went really badly. I was like, oh my gosh, my stop isn't working. But I think once you have like something happen and it doesn't work out well, it just kind of motivates, at least for me, you want to do it correctly the next time. And now I've noticed that if I like a level, and this was the case on the TQs today, if I like a level as long as it doesn't work out, maybe try shorting off that level. I've just realized it's just the same mindset, but reverse. It's the same thing you and Obi told me that first day. So I guess just putting that into practice. But thank you so much to Robbie V for the kind words. And thank you guys, everybody. I love these questions.
Yeah, and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for asking.
Cutting it short.
You asked great questions, and I like that the delivery of them was great. And thank you guys so much in the chat and Bears versus Bulls for getting those to us.
Yep. Ramin's billing me for overtime. One frappuccino. One last question. Okay. Favorite, like let's just say it was patio weather, although it may be possibly raining. If you were to go onto a patio today, I'm asking Fabian, Ramin, and Adara, because we're a team.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
What would be your drink of choice, Adara?
Okay. I like anything that's frozen, but I love a frozen margarita.
Flavor?
Lime. What about you? What about Fabian?
I love frozen margaritas.
They're so good.
They're so good, but they're so sugary. You can have 2 drinks, Fabian.
I like that. I like that.
Fabian asking if he can have 2 drinks. All right, Ramin, what's yours? Let's go. Spit him out. What would you guys drink? Rum and Coke for Fabian. Pina colada for Ramin. Okay, very interesting choice, Ramin. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sean is like.
Why is she hating on, like, that's nothing wrong with that.
That's a good
So what?
point.
The world knows Ramin likes pina coladas. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Neil just messaged me pineapple daiquiri for him. All right, thank you so much for watching. Some of that may or may not have been true. I'm Trader TV Sean. It's been fun.
It's been a great time. I'm Trader TV Adara. Thank you so much, guys, for all of the.
I promise I'll book a
chat.
guest next time. Forgot about it today. Everyone have a great weekend. Check out the release tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Ciao. Hi, Brankles.